Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. It's Monday.
Oh, hi, Jenny.
How we doing?
Hi, Shannon, how are you?
Oh,
Just another slow ho-hum weekend here in Southern California. How about them Cowboys? How about that Cody Parkey? Did you see that?
We did.
We got this. We got this. We're
Yeah,
good.
how you doing today,
How are
Skip?
you? I'm so good today.
Yeah, I watched the
can't
Golden
tell
Globes.
you how good I am.
Oh, did you see those Golden
Happy.
Globes last night?
I did.
Oh, man, that was awesome.
That's what you're celebrating?
Yeah, that's what I watched.
Yeah. Okay.
I ain't watched football yesterday.
Yeah.
Or
Great.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
I was out on the town.
You're about to be out this whole show.
Somehow I doubt that. Well, either way, we're going to talk about what we saw over the weekend. On today's show, Dak gets the big win. Lamar Jackson gets the tough loss. And then Tom Brady, is he in trouble on Sunday? But let's start in Chicago and how that one ended. The defending champion Eagles are looking like the team of destiny again. Nick Foles finished with 2 touchdown passes, including one at Golden Tate late in the fourth quarter to put the Eagles up 1 with under a minute left. Mitch Trubisky gets the Bears into field goal range, but in one of the oddest things we have ever seen, Cody Parkey's game-winning field goal attempt was apparently tipped. Then the ball hit the upright and crossbar and was no good. The Eagles move on to play the Saints on the road on Sunday. Let's take a listen to Parkey on that devastating miss.
That's the worst, one of the worst feelings in the world to let your team down. So I feel terrible. I'm gonna continue to put things in perspective. Continue to just put my best foot forward and just sleep at night knowing that I did everything in my power this week to go and make that kick. And for whatever reason, at the crossbar and the upright, and I still couldn't do it. So I feel terrible.
Whew, okay, Skip, what was your reaction to the missed field goal?
So, Jenny Taft and Shannon Sharpe, I must admit here publicly, I spent that whole second game yesterday trying to convince myself that my Dallas Cowboys could go win at New Orleans. They had beaten Drew Brees, as you remember, November 29th, that Thursday night. That, of course, was at Jerry World. And I kept trying to convince myself they got the blueprint. They can go down there. I know it'll be hard, but in my heart of hearts, I just knew they would have a better chance, if not a much better chance, to come out here, pretty nearby where we're sitting right now, to the LA Coliseum to play the Los Angeles Rams, because this is the Cowboys' home away from home, because they have trained out here since 1963. Training camps, obviously, in Thousand Oaks and Oxnard. And the Cowboy Nation takes over the Coliseum, and it could be a home away from home game on Saturday night. So,
Them 4 Cowboys fans take over everywhere.
yeah, they do. So, sometimes some crazy thing happens to start the NFL playoffs that changes the entire outcome of the whole playoffs, that dictates everything. And this just might have been that crazy thing, because in all my years of watching and covering football, college and pro football, high school football for that matter, I have never ever seen a field goal hit the upright and then the crossbar and bounce back toward the end zone no good. I've seen them hit the upright and the crossbar and bounce good toward the end zone stands. You've seen that,
Yes.
right? But I've never seen this one. So let's reconstruct what happened. Obviously, your man, Doug Peterson, did have the wherewithal to call a timeout to ice Cody Parkey on his first kick. And I remind everybody, Cody Parkey had made the Pro Bowl back in 2014 as an Eagles kicker, right? And so timeout, and on the first kick, it looked like it went pretty much right down the middle, right? He nailed it. Kick number 2, this is from 43 yards away. Somebody named Trayvon Hester, I did not know, who started this year on the Eagles practice squad, gets his hand up on the football and tips it at the line of scrimmage. So it's a crosswind. It is a tricky crosswind at Soldier Field. So I'm going to guess that he got just enough of the football that it raised its level a little bit. It hung a little bit in the crosswind, just long enough. It hit the upright. Then the football gods intervene because who knows why, what, how, and the ball falls just so that it hits flush on the inside of the crossbar. And it hits so hard on the crossbar, it bounds completely across the inside. It almost went back in the field of play. It hit near the goal line. So it wasn't even close to bounding the right way, the good way. And all of a sudden, it's just devastation. I'm sitting back, I'm trying to process, and I can't make it go in my head. Wait, Nick Foles just won at Chicago. He did it again. He's now 4-0 for this regime. And by the way, he played Drew Brees in a 2013 playoff game for Chip Kelly. Remember that? That was a cold night, Saturday night in Philadelphia. And Nick Foles played really well in that game, but Drew Brees took him for a last-second field goal, a walk-off field goal to win that game. So all of a sudden, I'm processing yesterday, could Nick Foles go down to the Superdome and beat the number 1 seed, the Saints? Sure he could. I would give him a shot. This team, it's looking like last year's team. Am I right about that? The secondary has come back together. And that front seven is hellacious good. And that offensive line did a superb job yesterday against Khalil Mack.
Jason Peters was unbelievable.
He was unbelievable yesterday. So again, do I give him a chance? Obviously, New Orleans will be favored. It looks like it's going to be up to, I think it opened around 10. It'll be an 8-7-point game.
I think it's at 9 right now.
Okay, 9. Okay, somewhere in there it's being bet wildly one way and the other. And that brings me to this idea. Could the Cowboys come out here? They're already a 7-point underdog, which I think is absurdly wrong because I think they're way better than a 7-point underdog. But could they come out here and beat the Rams? Sure, I'd give them a real chance because they're just on a roll.
Right.
What, 8 out of 9 now, right? That works. And is it possible, the long shot notion that I brought up to you last week of an NFC championship game at Jerry World between the Eagles and Cowboys for a third time this year, except this time with Nick Foles in place of Carson Wentz, a quarterback? Is that possible? I know it's a long shot, but suddenly it's possible. All of a sudden, one crazy kick, the craziest kick I've ever seen, could have changed the entire postseason on the NFC side of the football. Your thoughts, please.
Get it out your head.
Yep.
I know everybody's circulating that theory that it could
Are
happen.
they?
Oh,
Are they?
yeah.
Is that what they're saying on Twitter?
Eagles beat New Orleans, and if this happens, and the Eagle lands on the flagpole at 12 o'clock, the Cowboys get a home NFC. That is not happening.
I think the Eagles going to land on the flagpole at 12 o'clock.
Skip, look, maybe you're right. Maybe this is the Lemony Snicket series, a series of unfortunate events.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You saw that movie?
I did.
I can't believe you went to that.
I did.
Shannon Sharpe went to Lemony Snicket?
You know, sometimes, Skip, it's who you play when you play them.
Yep.
And I agree with you that I believe that New Orleans would have been a more difficult, more daunting task for the Cowboys, but the Cowboys would go into that game feeling confident because they had already beaten them, although it's at home, and we know New Orleans is a different animal in their building as opposed to on the road. And they hadn't played well in the last 3 weeks. Now, they did take the last week off. None of the big-time starters played. The defense did, but not Drew Brees and some of the other guys. But the Rams, I think this is the matchup that the Cowboys wanted, considering, as you mentioned, the Rams really doesn't have a discernible home field advantage because when they play a team, the team has as many fans, and if you
just about every visitor does, but this is going to be times 10.
Green Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, because you remember when Green Bay played the Rams in the Coliseum, Aaron Rodgers is on the sideline, and he's imploring the crowd to get up.
Yeah.
How do you tell you on the road and you tell the crowd to make noise?
That's true.
But Skip, you know, like I said, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yep.
And
I agree with that in this case.
The Cowboys got the matchup that they could hope for. They get the Rams. The Rams are not very good against the run. The Cowboys will try to establish the run. But sometimes, Skip Bayless, and I tell him this all the time, Jenny, he doesn't want to hear this.
What?
Sometimes you can make your destiny on the very road you took to avoid it. Now,
grandfather or
yeah. See,
grandfather?
you did everything you wanted. You they can beat New Orleans. They can go to New Orleans and beat New Orleans. They've already beaten them like 5 weeks ago. I want to play the Rams. I want to play the Rams. So the destiny you were trying to avoid, you made it playing the Rams.
Okay.
Now, I want Todd Gurley. Now, Todd has been off for about a month, nursing a knee injury. Hopefully he's healthy, but if he can't go, CJ has played.
That was a good pickup for them. Yeah, CJ Anderson.
He's
yeah.
not Todd Gurley.
No.
Todd gives you a little bit more explosiveness. He gives you a better receiver out of the backfield. But they're going to have to play their best game. The Cowboys come in brimming with confidence. Their defense is for real, as I said they were. They fly around to the football. But, Skip Bayless, and see, the reason why you wanted the Eagles to win is that you don't like walking to them. And you're going to do everything you possibly can to get walking to them out of that division because you want your guy to reign supreme over the next 10 years in the NFC East because it would greatly increase your
Wait a second. Does this mean walk it to him might just have to walk right on out of town?
He ain't going nowhere.
Oh, okay.
No. Jeffrey Lewis
I'm wondering about this.
Howie Roseman.
Really?
Yeah. Nothing that
How
happened.
can you ship out a quarterback who was the Super Bowl MVP who just beat the #1 defense in Chicago in a big playoff game?
Watch him. Watch how they do it.
Do that.
Watch how they do it.
I hope they do. Honestly, you got the flip side of that. You got it all wrong. You're upside down on it because I want Carson Wentz to remain the quarterback. My team beat Carson Wentz twice already.
Well, they beat you last year.
And when Carson Wentz went to New Orleans, remember that game? It was 48-7 Drew Brees this year. Woo.
This is a different team. They're playing different. Obviously, you look at the defense, the way their defense are playing now. Now, it's hard to say because I thought Chicago's defense played really well. They only gave up. They were averaging giving up 17. They gave up one fewer. Give Nick Foles credit, Skip. The third down completion to Alshon Jeffrey.
Was that not huge?
That was
That's
huge.
3rd and 9 at the 15? What?
DBs.
Whew.
When you see they get into an empty set or they get 3 receivers, a 3-by-1, and the wide receiver, he stutters, immediately you should jump outside because they're coming with the sprint option. So will you please stop?
You're talking about the 4th down play?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Golden
now
Tate.
we're down to the Golden Tate.
The guys,
Okay.
first of all.
I thought you meant the 3rd and 9
I will give Golden Tate credit because what he did is that he froze him, Skip, because he looked back inside like, okay, what's going on? And then he jetted, which forced the DB to look back inside. Why are you looking back inside? Your guy's not the quarterback. Your guy's standing right there in front of you. So when you peeped inside, guess what Golden Tate did? Jetted to the flat. And guess what Nick Foles? Give Foles credit because Floyd was right in his eyesight. He had
to throw a sidearm.
Yeah, he had to change his arm angle.
Woo. And give Nick Foles credit because during the timeout before that play, he ran to the sideline and told Dougie P, fearless. You wrote a book, Fearless. I am fearless. He is the one who told him, you know what? They're going to blitz this. Let's go sprint out. Let's roll right.
Yes.
So I can run away from the blitzer,
Yes.
which he did.
Yep.
Now, he got Floyd right in the face, and he had to flip it underneath.
Right.
But he got Golden Tate in single coverage. And Golden Tate, as you pointed out, when they acquired him for a 3rd-round pick, and I think that 3rd-round pick became, like that's pretty good value, right?
Correct.
Golden Tate is just gutsy. He's blue-collar, and he's going to make that play.
But Skip, the DB, the safety, he has inside help. Why would you ever get caught holding the bag inside? You know you have the inside help. If you watch it, the safety walks down to make sure, and you still let Golden Tate get outside.
He was Golden State on that play.
Yeah, come on, but you know what?
Was it not a good throw? Was it not right
Skip,
on the button?
Skip, it was a great throw, given the circumstances under the rest. It's 4th down. If you don't get this,
win or lose.
This is it. This is for all the marbles.
Yep.
And not only do you get a rusher in your face, you have to change arm angles. 4th down, so it's now or never. But I'm saying if guys would do their responsibility, and listen, you know you have help inside. So you know what? If he goes inside, Skip, and he catches it, that's on the safety.
Okay.
But I am not getting beat to the edge. You can't. But give them credit. Skip, Philly's been in playoff mode for the last month. Because they know if they lost any game, it's over. Not only did they have to win out after they lost to Dallas, they had to have some good things happen. Minnesota needed to lose a few too.
Yep.
So those good things happen, but in order to have that luck, you have to take care of your business on the front end.
Okay.
So you can't hope, well, this happened, that happened. I got to take care of my business, and then we'll see where the chips fall.
So I'm going to say this one more time, and I've been saying it regularly, consistently throughout Undisputed's time here. Nick Foles in a vacuum is not a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. If I just go sort of player to player in a vacuum, I just say, no, I'll go with Carson Wentz. But as a quarterback, playing the position of quarterback in big games, Nick Foles is just better than Carson Wentz. I'm sorry, it happens over and over and over again. They went on their run with Nick Foles at quarterback. Does he have as big an arm as Carson? He does not. Is he as mobile as Carson Wentz? He is not, even though Carson's knee restricted that this year. But again, can he play the position? Can he make the reads and anticipate the big throw at the big moment? He just can. Listen, that last drive, that's 12 plays, 60 yards. It's a thing of beauty against that defense and that stadium.
Making big-time throws.
It's just big-time throws because he started off with a 15-yard Alshon and then the 11-yarder on 3rd and 9 and then that to Golden Tate. That's all time. I got to tell you, that's big time. He has put them back on the map.
He has. But, Skip, there was something that transpired that concerned me, and I was talking about it last night, me and Dion, when I was at the other show. When the Eagles got that first down, why didn't Nagy use his timeouts? He had 3 of them, Skip. Why would you not preserve the clock? Because at worst case, you don't want them to score and burn all the time, so you start burning your timeouts. Now you get the ball back. Say you get the ball back with 125, 130, 135 with no timeouts as opposed to 48 seconds with 1 timeout.
Because he's never been in that position before.
And
that's why.
And you know what, Skip? Therein lies the difference between Nick Foles and Carson Wentz.
I agree.
Because he's been in that position.
He has.
He's had success in that position. Look what I did in the divisional against Atlanta. Although I didn't play well, I won. Got some confidence. And then he and the offense destroyed Minnesota.
Yep.
Now you go to the Super Bowl and you do something that no one gave you a chance. You really outgunned the Patriots and Tom Brady. So he has confidence. And when people say, well, I knew I could do it, do you really know unless you do it? Everybody can say that, oh, yeah, I know I can do that. But until everybody, well, I can run a marathon. But until you get on the line and you actually finish it, do we really know if we can really do it, Skip? You have to do something in order to prove, not only to everyone else, but to prove to yourself, because anybody can say, oh, I could have done that from the couch. Well, Nick Foles has done it over the last 2 years, and it's amazing what a guy like that, what it does to the confidence in the locker room. Because guess what? The offensive guys believe in him. Skip, this is not the same defense that gave up 48 points to New Orleans. This is not the same defense
I agree.
that in the second half, in the fourth quarter, that every time they tied the game, they let Dallas go right back down the field and take the lead in the game.
Same.
This is not that defense.
Nope.
This defense is better.
They're
agree. Playing better.
Dak Prescott threw for 243 yards in the fourth quarter and overtime of that game at Jerry World. All of a sudden, they've got DBs off the street who are starting to figure out how to play, how to anticipate, how to jump routes. And young Trubisky played pretty well yesterday. His QBR was 50, which is between scale 0 and 100. It's average. But he threw a couple of balls that should have been picked.
Easy.
One in the end zone, one on the sideline, right?
And the thing was, Skip, he didn't play bad, but he didn't necessarily make the plays that sometimes you have to make a play here. That Nick Foles made every play that he needed to make.
Yet and still. What happened in the final possession of the game? The Eagles kicker, Elliott, he misses the kickoff. It falls short of the goal line at the 7-yard line, and little Cohen, you knew what was going to happen. He just broke loose, and he runs it all the way out to the 42-yard line, and then give Trubisky credit. He completed a 25-yarder to Allen Robinson and an 8-yarder to Allen Robinson, and all of a sudden they're set up with a 43-yard field goal. And I must admit, if you'd held my feet to the fire, I'd say it's over. Dallas is going to New Orleans. That's what I thought. And yet, I'm going to go back to that kid who got his fingertips on the football, that Trayvon Hester. Guess who he was a discard of right before camps concluded? It was right before the season started. He was an Oakland Raider. He's a Gruden cast-off. So maybe the Gruden cast-off on Philly canceled out the Gruden giveaway, which was Khalil Mack, on the other side, right?
I told you, Gruden should be executive of the year.
He is. I mean,
look what he did for the Bears.
Games all over the playoffs.
Look what he did for the Bears and the Cowboys.
I know.
And the Eagles, for that matter.
Done a lot.
And the Eagles. Way to go. So I'm going to remind you, what have I told you about my Dallas Cowboys? They've been on a revenge tour. They need to be able to get even with teams such as Seattle because they owed them for last year and early this year.
Oh, so they got to get back to the Rams.
They got to get back to the Rams. Remember what happened last year at Jerry World? My Cowboys were up 24-16. That was Jared Goff and Todd Gurley and the whole thing, right?
Half.
And my defense fell apart. There was no Sean Lee the second half. There's no Sean Lee now.
I had heard you mention Sean Lee.
No,
I think they should replace Vander Esch with Sean Lee.
Well, he started the game, did Sean Lee the other day, and I was scared about that. I thought it might jinx them because he just played one play and Van Der Esch came in, and I don't think Sean Lee played another snap.
If I'm Van Der Esch, I'm upset. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I want that start on my resume.
Yeah.
Well, he's a good kid. He's a nice young man. He's a team player, and he played his tail off.
I don't want no
against
symbolic. They did a symbolic gesture for Sean Lee, Skip Bayless. Van Der Esch has been playing his butt off since he's been in there.
He has.
And you gonna let Sean Lee start
Do that.
I'm with you. I agree with that. I did not like it. It was just a nod to all of his achievements and all of his dedication to what they've been. He got them to where they were, and then Van Der Esch took it from there. But I'm going to remind you, Todd Gurley took over the football game in the second half last year and wound up with 215 combined yardage with his runs and his passes, and he caught the 51-yarder run catch that broke the game open.
Yeah.
So now it comes to this. Can they get revenge here in the Coliseum, and is Todd Gurley going to be healthy? I don't know.
Yeah.
They've had their week off.
Well, he's been off more than a week.
Yep.
Because remember, C.J. Anderson filled in for him against Arizona. He filled in for him the last week. They get the bye week. So he's been off for a month.
Yep.
So he should be chomping at the bit, raring to go, and hopefully they play well. But defensively, now they have everybody back. They have a week off. They had a week off, and so we're going to see Peters, Aqib Talib.
We will.
That's going to be a great matchup. But the key has it will and always will be, as long as 2-1 is in the backfield and wearing a Cowboys uniform, it starts and stops with him.
It does not. It starts and stops with number 4. And my final mint to be note is, where was Dak Prescott's coming out party? The very first preseason game of the 2016 season when he was a raw rookie 4th-round pick out of Mississippi State. It happened right here at the Los Angeles Coliseum when he started the first preseason game. And he only went 10 out of 12 for 139 yards in the first half, and they led 24-6 at halftime, and the rest is history. Yeah. Thank you.
So, hey, let's talk about that quarterback.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the Cowboys. They're coming to town.
What about it?
Yeah.
It ends.
Here we go.
We're going to get some dew?
Let him live.
Can we get some dew?
Lots of dew. Lots of dew.
Let him enjoy this.
I just want you to know you get no points. So don't even come at me about no points.
I got 7 points in the Cowboys.
No, you don't. No. Oh, no. You get no points.
We'll see
exactly
about
what
some bets later. Are the Cowboys actually real Super Bowl contenders? Let's break it down. That's coming up next.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here with a quick word from ZipRecruiter. You know what's smart? Figuring out who you need to hire to take your business to the next level in 2019. You know what else is smart? Starting the new year off strong by going to ZipRecruiter.com/undisputed to hire the right people. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter finds qualified candidates for you. Its powerful matching technology scans thousands of resumes to identify people with the right skills, education, and experience, and actively invites them to apply to your job so you get qualified candidates fast. That's why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. This rating comes from hiring sites on Trustpilot with over 1,000 reviews. And right now, Undisputed listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/undisputed. If you love this show, show your support to it and ZipRecruiter by going to ZipRecruiter.com/UNDISPUTED. That's ZipRecruiter.com/undisputed. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Now, back to the show.
No mercy.
The Cowboys got big games from their 2 stars, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, on Saturday night. Zeke finished with over 100 yards on the ground, including a touchdown run that put Dallas up by 3. Then late in the 4th, Dak had maybe the biggest play of his career, running up the middle on 3rd and 14 for the first down. Dak and Zeke won their first career playoff game, and Zeke had nothing but praise for his quarterback afterwards. Let's take a listen.
What were you thinking when you saw him take off?
It's simple. He's a grown-ass man. That's what it is. That's how he played today, and he led us to this win.
I feel like I'm a grown-ass man just in general. So playing like it or not, I'll take the compliment. We went into this game expecting pretty much to do what we did, knowing we're playing a great Seattle team, knowing the game was going to serve us some ups and some downs, but we expected this. We expected to win. So, I mean, as I said, it was excitement. I mean, we're in a tournament where you win or go home, and we won, and we're going to go on to the next one. So it's about moving forward now.
Okay, Shannon, what was the biggest reason for the Cowboys' win?
I thought it was Zeke being able to run the football the way he did, because what he allows you to do is control the clock and keep the opposing team's offense off the field. If you look at Zeke through his career, when he rushes the ball for 130-plus yards, they're 10-0. He got to 120, he got to 137. And when you can run the ball like they were able to run it, it sets you up for third and short, third and manageable. So now we can hand it to him again, or we can go play pass. And so I thought Zeke running the football. Now, look, there's enough credit to go around, but if you ask me, the one thing that the Cowboys must do to continue this role that they're on is Zeke has to continue to run the football. Yeah, the defense did an unbelievable job. They choked off the run. The number one running team had very minimal rush yards. And if you take away that 28-yard run by Penny in the third quarter, the other carries were 23 for 45. The Cowboys said, look, we refuse to let you run the ball in between the tackles. They did a lot of pinching their ends. You see DeMarcus Lawrence get a lot of tackles for losses. Gregory did the same thing. But when Russell kept the ball, he was scot-free around the end. I'm surprised, Skip, they didn't run that more. They didn't put the ball in Russell and say, instead of sitting back here throwing it, maybe you run the ball a little bit more. But I thought Zeke being able to run the football, being able to control the clock, control tempo, thought was the very key to them winning. Because if you look at Dak, and Skip, you love, Dak, he was this and he was that.
Have I spoken? I haven't said a word yet.
No.
How do you know what I'm going to say?
Because I just know you. Yeah. Dak was 22 of 33, 226, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Okay, but he only attempted 4 throws over 15 yards. He's one for 4. So it tells me he was doing what? A lot of dinking and dacking. And then just because I know you was going to do this, he averaged 6.8. If he had done that in the regular season, over the course of the season, that'd have been 27th in yards per attempt. So I don't want you to get all excited about what you saw. But I just want you to know this before I turn it over to you. It's going to come to an end this weekend.
That's all you got to say? Simple as that?
It was Zeke. I keep telling you, Zeke is how they butter their bread. Zeke is how they eat. And now, let me tell you, my jacket, because now it ain't good enough to do this. He started doing it with 2 hands. He's like, feed me. Yeah, he double-fisted it. He double-fisted it.
When he eats with 2 hands.
Yeah! Yeah!
So, here we go again.
Okay.
You just won't give it up. You just won't give in to what I've been trying to explain to you from day one on this show. The Dallas Cowboys go as number 4
Stop
goes.
it.
They go as Dak Prescott goes. He is the heartbeat of this football team. He is the alpha, he is the leader, he is the driving force, and he has turned into one of the great playmakers in this league today.
Yeah, I'm not arguing anything that you said, that he's the heartbeat, that he's the leader. Well, I'm not arguing that.
So let's look at what really happened here. When Russell Wilson and I have the highest respect for Russell Wilson, because you want to talk about making plays. He made 3 throws in that game where I just sat back and said, that's just too good, He made blind throws with blitzers right in his face, and he just threw rainbows to Doug Baldwin and then to Lockett a couple of times where I just said, that's just too good. But Dak Prescott was better. Dak Prescott outplayed Russell Wilson. Dak Prescott responded again and again and overcame Russell Wilson, because what happened in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, Russell Wilson drove them down, and finally, to your point, they went read option, keep, twice, touchdown. There it was, and I was like, we can't stop that if they keep doing that. And what did Dak Prescott do? He responded once again, because he is the leader of this football team, and they go 9 plays, 67 yards. And by the way, the signature play on that drive to get them into the red zone was 34 yards to Amari Cooper. So I don't know. He was dinking and dacking, but that was one. Maybe that was the only one.
See what you did?
Yeah.
He threw a 10-yard route, and then all of a sudden he goes another 24 yards, and now it's a 34-yard completion.
Okay,
but it wasn't 34 yards air travel.
So that set up 2nd and 4 at the 10-yard line. What has my team struggled with all year long? What has stymied them? Red zone scoring.
With touchdowns in the red zone. They kick field goals, but you want touchdowns.
They kick field goals, but I'm talking about
touchdowns.
7 points in the red zone. So on 2nd and 4 from the 10, what did the leader of my football team do? He audibles out of whatever the play call was, and I couldn't even believe this was the audible, this was the fallback play. Do you remember the single wing? Because from my first days in Pop Warner football, those are the days of single wing football. he gets the ball snapped to him, and he runs a power sweep left with Zeke leading the way as his lead blocker, and he just basically runs through the whole Seattle defense to the half-yard line. That's just my quarterback saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to will this ball into the end zone. I'll take it home. And it was a beautiful play. As soon as it was snapped to him and he took off, I was like, Lord have mercy. This is not going anywhere. And Dak Prescott just said, nope, you can't stop me. I'm going to power run through you because you know what? He is a grown-ass man. That's how he plays football. And that's what happened on that play. And then what happened later in the game, what was the final nail in Seattle's coffin, even though it got a little shaky after that? But what happened on 3rd and 14 from the 16?
You can't give that up.
Huh?
You can't give that up.
It's a quarterback draw because Scott Linehan finally pulled his hat out and did what I've been beating this desk for, run a quarterback draw. And Dak Prescott just basically goes right up the middle of the Seattle defense, and nobody can tackle him because he's a grown-ass man who's going to will the ball into the end zone.
They were scared.
Yeah, they look scared. I agree with you.
You know what, Skip? I think they thought they're approaching Dak like some of the other quarterbacks. Someone get close to him, they're going to slide. Dak saw the end zone like, I'm not sliding. I'm going for it.
He's going to somersault. He's going to flip. He's going to helicopter, as John Elway once did in a fateful Super Bowl that you played in and won against the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going to quote my man Lil Wayne. I'm texting back and forth on Saturday night with Lil Wayne, who's no Cowboy fan, trust me, because he's a big Green Bay Packer fan, and he's like you. He's a much bigger Zeke fan than a Dak fan. But we went back and forth a couple of texts, and this was his conclusive line, and I'm going to read it here because Lil Wayne is deep when it comes to sports. He's very insightful and profound, and he said about Dak Prescott, it's like he's playing for something more than everyone else on the team is playing for. That's how I feel when I watch him. Like, this is all guts, all heart. Like, whatever I have to do, if it's with my arm or my legs, I'm going to do that to win this game because I want this even more than anybody else on my football team wants it. Well, you can't quantify that intangible. That's just a winner's intangible. You either have that or you don't have that. And you played with guys who had it. I think you had it.
Yeah.
You just have it. And you can't coach it, you can't teach it, you can't develop it.
I think the thing Dak realizes, Skip, is that he plays the only position that a Super Bowl matters. If a wide receiver is on a team that wins the Super Bowl, they're not going to say they won the Super Bowl because of him.
Yep.
You win the Super Bowl, now unless it's a situation kind of like what we had in Baltimore or Brad Johnson with Tampa. For the most part, Skip, the quarterback's going to get the lion's share of the credit because he takes the snaps and he's going to have to make a throw. He's going to have to make decisions that either help or hinder his team's ability to win that game.
Okay.
So Dak understands that, Skip, no matter what we think of him. And we can say, oh, it's Zeke, it's Zeke, it's Zeke. But if the Cowboys get 2 and they win the Super Bowl, Dak understands who's going to get the credit.
Well, does he? I don't think he cares who gets the
No,
credit.
but I'm just saying how the perception, how the view.
All right.
Skip, we look at Joe Flacco totally different because he won that one game.
Okay.
Joe Flacco's been terrible in the regular season. He's led the league in interception. And then now everybody, we're going to talk about him in a minute, clamoring for him. But because he won the Super Bowl, we look at him totally different had he not.
Okay, so do I credit Zeke for Saturday night? Yes, I do, because he had 137 yards. But how did he get them? On one play, he goes for 44, and it's the weirdest play of the year for his run.
Yeah, because Griffin, 26.
Nobody's home.
He, 26. Griffin, I hate calling out players, Jenny, but I must in this situation. You have force. You are the, you cannot let nobody.
I don't even know where he went.
He's up, first of all, he's off the ball. And then he goes back to the middle. For what? You are the force.
I don't know. Nobody is home.
Twice it happened.
Bounces it off right tackle.
What did he look?
I don't know. Nobody's home. He just runs.
When people say more games are lost as opposed to won, those are the type plays that get you beat. Those are the kind of plays that get DB coaches fired. Those are the type plays that get defensive coordinators fired. You have a responsibility. You are the force element, which means nothing is to get outside.
Okay. You sound like an angry fan who
because
Seattle to win the game.
No, you know what I hate, Skip? Whether I pick someone in the middle and win or not. because I know they practice this.
I don't know what what was the call? Yeah. What was his responsibility? Well, I don't know.
His responsibility is the force, which means
are you sure? Why would he just bolt into the middle of the field?
I'm willing to bet everything I own that he is the force element in that play.
Okay, all right. So then Zeke had one other run in that final nail in the coffin drive.
And again, what happened?
And it was 17 yards, but he broke he got free
again,
on the right.
He's the force element.
And he also had a beautiful stiff arm, and it was just rare. It's just one of those plays where you say, that's just too good. Like Ezekiel Elliott is all time.
If I got the force element, if I force him to cut back inside, I've done my job. I just can't let him get the edge. I don't care if he's stiff arms. I don't care if he disappears. But if you disappear, you're going to disappear in the middle. Okay. You're not going to disappear around the edge.
Okay. So this is why I wasn't blown away by Zeke's night, because he had a 44-yarder and a 17-yarder, and you say that it's really a breakdown in the defense. And if I take away those two runs, then he winds up with 76 yards on 24 other carries, and it's like 3 yards a carry.
But it's a culmination, Skip.
Okay, you just keep pounding and
pounding. Okay, and you hope that, and that's the thing, Skip, you keep pounding, and all of a sudden someone's slow to get to their gap. Someone is slow to handle their responsibility. You see what happens? Now, instead of a 3-yard where you stop them 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, now someone doesn't play their responsibility, it's 44. Someone doesn't play their responsibility, is 17. That's what you hope when you run the football, is that it's a culmination, and then boom, you get what you need.
And yes, you point out my defense. Does it get huge credit? But I told you on Friday when I made my prediction, this is a bad matchup for Seattle. They did lead the NFL in rushing. My defense does one thing really well. It will take the run away. It took away Drew Brees. It took away Kamara and Mark Ingram. And it just flat out shut this down, because at halftime they had 22 rush yards, wound up with 73 for the game. And Chris Carson, who's a 1,000-yard rusher, he gets 13 carries for 20 yards? Really?
Right.
That's impossible.
Well, Skip, here's the thing. When you make that sort of concentrated effort to take someone's run away, or you make that kind of concerted effort to take something away, you have to open yourself up for something else.
You do.
We're going to talk about the Ravens situation when they played they played 7 defensive backs. Well, when you play that, Skip, you open yourself up for something else. Whether or not the opposing team can take advantage of what you open yourself up for is something entirely different.
So to me, the key reason this team plays the run so well is those two inside backers. They can just fly to the football. They wreak havoc at the line of scrimmage, because even if you think Chris Carson has a step, all of a sudden he doesn't have a step, and it's a 1-yard gain. Because somebody, Van Der Esch or Jalen Smith, is at his ankles pulling him down.
Skip, early in the ball game, I think it was the first possession, it was 3rd and 2. And for what other reason, you're the number 1 running team in football. Skip, if they stop me at what I'm good at, I can live with that. But I'm not throwing the ball. Why would you throw the ball in that situation? Because now you convince the Cowboys, they're scared to run the ball. It's 3rd and 2, and they won't go with their bread and butter. So now you got them thinking that we took them out of what we know they want to do. They're afraid of us, guys. Let's keep eating. Let's keep hunting. So now you got your hands full when you really shouldn't.
So I'm going to say this one last time about the man on the Dallas Cowboys. No quarterback in NFL history through his first 3 years has had a better completion percentage than Dak Prescott. No quarterback has more game-winning drives over the last 3 years than Dak Prescott has. No quarterback except the one in Foxborough has won more games over the last 3 years than Dak Prescott has, and now he's up to 33 wins in 3 years with his first playoff game. And that quarterback, Dak Prescott, threw for 300-plus and 3 touchdowns against Aaron Rodgers, but did not win his first playoff game. But he outplayed Russell Wilson in this game, 74-70 in QBR, and here we go. He's got a playoff.
Skip, if you don't mind me asking, you say Dak is the de facto. He's the most important. Why couldn't he do this in Zeke's absence when he missed 6 games last year?
Well, he played pretty.
No.
9-7.
I don't need to play. No. Playoffs. He got to the playoffs this year. I just need to know if he's the guy. Without Zeke, why couldn't he do this?
Well, he didn't have him for 6 games, and they had the cloud of Zeke hanging over the team the whole time. And they had a horrendous backup left tackle at Atlanta who gave up 8 sacks. So I don't know. This team is much better, obviously. It has more of its pieces in place.
Interesting.
Yeah. But here he goes. 13 wins, 9 wins. 10 wins plus a playoff win. I don't know, Jimmy.
Let's see. How many wins the first year? 13.
Yeah.
Zeke led the league in rushing, 1,606. Second year, third year, NFC East, 10-6. Who led the league in rushing? There's a reoccurring theme here. Okay, they don't make the playoff. Zeke missed 6 games. There's a reoccurring theme here. I don't know if you can see it.
Well, my recurrent theme is who's led all of football in game-winning drives in the fourth quarter and overtime? It's my quarterback. Does that not count? Do those not contribute to W's? Yes.
So
he did it again.
Okay, so what's the stat?
He did it again.
So if you don't mind me asking, so what's the stat when Dak throws for 300 yards? What's the percentage? Because this is what I know. When Zeke runs the ball for over 130, they're 10-0 in his career. Is Dak 10-0 when he throws for 300?
Maybe it's just coincidence that happened. I don't know.
Too many coincidences are not a coincidence.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can he lead them on the road now, though? They've lost 7 straight road
It's a fair
playoff
question.
games.
Fair question.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if y'all
I like
see me
my
on,
chances.
Don't be surprised if y'all see me at the Rams game on the sideline with the Rams.
Yep.
With my Deacon Jones jersey.
You going to throw rotten fruit at my quarterback from the sideline?
Yep. I feel like I could.
I might pull a Woody Hayes if he starts running.
Yeah.
No mercy.
Okay, next up, the Chargers. Well, hey, they struggled on offense against the Ravens at times, but they still had a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter. Lamar Jackson was horrible in the first 3 quarters. And Ravens fans were calling for Joe Flacco, but Lamar let it come back with 2 touchdown passes to Michael Crabtree in the fourth to pull the Ravens within 6. Baltimore got the ball one more time in the final minute, but Lamar was sacked and fumbled. The Chargers held on for the 23-17 win, and now they head to Foxborough. After the game, John Harbaugh talked about sticking with Lamar over Joe Flacco. Let's take a listen.
I can assure you we were considering, putting Joe in the game and all that kind of stuff. That was part of the conversation. Certainly thought about it, certainly talked about it with everybody. And I can tell you this, it was everybody was on the same page with what we did, everybody, including Joe. I mean, Lamar's our quarterback going forward. There's no question about that. Joe Flacco is going to play really well in this league. Joe can still play. I think we saw that the first half of the season. Joe's going to have a market. There are going to be a lot of teams that are going to want Joe because they understand that. And I'll be in Joe's corner wherever he's at, unless we play him.
No, you can't even go there, man. I thought Lamar did a great job of just hanging in there and, and giving us a chance at the end. I just told him, listen, finish strong. At some point, you're going to be proud of how you finish, no matter what happens. This is all part of it, is dealing with, this situation right now.
All right, Shannon, should Harbaugh have made the change?
No. And listening to him talk immediately after the game lets me know Joe Flacco was never in the discussion.
He said that, but I'm with you. I don't think he.
John Harbaugh said Joe is going to play well in this league. Joe will have a market. Joe will play a lot of good football for someone, and I wish him well, except when he plays us. That does not sound like a head coach that ever considered putting Joe Flacco in this game. He said Lamar Jackson is his quarterback moving forward. He knew he would do more harm by removing Lamar Jackson than he would by leaving him in. So, Skip, I get it. Lamar was not playing well. If you think about it, what San Diego did, and I've never seen this before, they played with 7 defensive backs, 58 or 59 snaps. What that told me, Skip, is that they wanted to get guys on the field that can match Lamar Jackson's speed. So we're removing these linebackers, and we're going to put safeties, guys that can tackle, but they got speed to chase sideline to sideline. Now, what that means, Skip, and you have to give the defensive line of the Chargers a good job, because they did a good job of keeping those guards and centers off those little smallish players. Skip, I think what I've learned in having played this game, Skip, is that the farther removed the player gets, the better he looks to his fans. Because do they remember Joe Flacco once had a playoff game, Skip? He was 4 of 10 for 34 yards with an interception. They beat New England because they had 40 rush attempts for over 200 yards.
The Ray Rice game.
Yes. But they forget that. They forget that when Joe Flacco got nicked, they were 4 and 5. They forget that Ozzie Newsome traded back into the first round to get Lamar Jackson. See, Joe Flacco could have made this a moot point. Normally when quarterbacks are playing really well, they're not drafting quarterbacks in the first round, Skip. Now, last I checked, now you start to play bad, they're going to get your position. They're going to fill that position ASAP. Now, they really would have preferred, I believe, to have Lamar Jackson sit this entire season. But Joe Flacco started stinking it up. He got Nick. They put Lamar in, and once they put Lamar in and they won, they were never going back to Joe Flacco. And they were never going back to Joe Flacco in this game, nor should they. Now, I get, Skip, with 9 minutes left in the ball game in the fourth quarter, at that point, Lamar Jackson was 3 of 10, 25 yards, an interception, and 5 sacks. Can you imagine? Lamar Jackson, as elusive as he is, had 5 sacks. What do you think that statue Joe Flacco would have done against Ingram, against Bosa, against that relentless pressure that they were putting? So I agree 100% that he should have left Lamar Jackson in, and the benefit long term. So now I picked the Chargers, and I'm not saying this just because I picked them and they won. I just felt that where Lamar Jackson was this early in his career, throwing the football was not where it needed to be. And they would force him to throw the football because they're going to take that run away. Second time around, Skip, you see they had a game plan. The first time they tried to play him conventional. Second time around, I get a second crack at you. Okay, I see what you want to do.
You should credit your friend Anthony Lynn for that, and Gus Bradley.
Gus Bradley.
Because that was
smart.
Brilliant.
Yes. Skip, we don't have linebackers that can run with this kid from sideline to sideline. We don't have anybody that can chase him down. So let's play.
Derwin James can.
So we're going to bring 2 more safeties on the field, and we're going to play like this. Okay, if you can throw the ball, so be it. But we don't believe you can. We believe you want to run the football. So I agree with John Harbaugh. I agree they should have stayed with Lamar, and this will be better because now he's like, you can't have a situation that every time he plays bad, you want to go to the backup. John Harbaugh was right, and I'm glad he stuck with it.
So I'm going to begin what I'm going to say by telling you or reminding you that before the year started, I said I would go with Lamar Jackson as the starting quarterback, and I know he's going to be a raw rookie. He's just better than Joe Flacco, as I call him, because Joe Flacco in regular seasons had missed 6 of the last 7 playoffs since he got all of his money from winning that one Super Bowl.
Right.
And yet I cannot take away what happens in the playoffs to Joe Flacco, because despite the one bad game that he had, he's 10-5 in the playoffs, 25 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. That's like Hall of Fame numbers, right?
Yes.
Not that he's ever going to even sniff the Hall of Fame, but I don't know. Would he ever get on a ballot? I don't know. Maybe.
No, because here's the thing, Skip. Now, if he had put up those numbers in the regular season, he might be a serious Hall of Fame contender.
Yeah. But I am also here to admit, because you can just read my tweets, when it got so bad for Lamar Jackson, it got so bad early in the fourth quarter, to your point, there's 9 minutes left in the game, so he has played 3 1/3 quarters, okay? And I'm going to reiterate your stats. 3 of 10 for 25 yards with 5 sacks and an interception and no touchdowns. So that's, I don't know if in NFL history you could find much worse numbers than that for that long of playing in one football game.
Well, Joe Flacco had those numbers for a whole entire game. He was 4 of 10 for 34 in an interception.
34, so he's a little better.
He was 9 yards better.
All right. But again, they were losing the football game at that point, 23-10. So I tweeted at that point I would have given Flacco a chance just to put Lamar out of his rookie misery, because you know and I know sometimes a kid just gets off wrong in a football game, especially at that position, and it goes from bad to worse, and it looked like it was going to worse for me.
Right.
So I wanted him protected, get him out of harm's way, because it looked like it was going to only get worse and worse at that point. And because Flacco does have 25 touchdown passes in the postseason, I said, why not just give him a chance? This is desperation. You're down 20 points. Let's see if he could throw you back into the football game. I agree with you. It's more likely he would have been sacked 3 more times, 4 more times. But I was wrong about my tweet, because to Lamar Jackson's credit, to the credit of his deep football character that he has displayed all year, he really bounced back, because from that point on, again, you can say they kind of backed off their defensive.
They did, yeah.
But he goes 11 of 19 for 169 yards the rest of the last 9 minutes of the game with 2 touchdown passes. Well, that's sensational.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you're back sort of in the football game, where with 45 seconds left, you get the football back. 45 seconds left, you're 1st and 10 at your 34, and he completes another ball to University of Oklahoma's Mark Andrews, another rookie, and that's for 13 yards, and now you got 1st and 10 at the 47, you spike it, and then unfortunately, Melvin Ingram happened one more time, and he gets strip sacked, and that's the end of the game.
Right.
But he was in position at 23-17 down to actually pull off a miracle comeback.
Yep.
So Here's what I thought from John Harbaugh's body language during the game and from what he said afterwards. I believe Ozzie Newsome, or maybe all the way up to Steve Bisciotti, I think they read the riot act last week and said, we do not want Lamar pulled for any reason.
Oh, no.
Because remember, John Harbaugh at heart is a Flacco guy.
Yeah,
he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they came in together, Skip.
Okay. So, in his heart, it's tugging on him. Give Joe a shot. Give Joe a shot. I believe he had been ordered. You can't, unless Lamar gets hurt.
Right, barring injury, that was the only way.
Performance, you cannot make the switch. Because if you make the switch, you reopen the can of worms. To your point, they have cut bait with Joe Flacco, which is why John Harbaugh was very comfortable saying after the game, there's going to be a market.
Think about that, Skip. After the normally your coaches are more diplomatic.
Yeah.
We love to have Joe, but good way to back it up. Joe ain't coming back here. We love to have Joe back. Joe has won a lot of games for us. So coaches give you coach speak.
Yeah.
And so it's, man, I don't know. You hear him talk. I don't know, man.
That wasn't
John
coach
Harbaugh.
speak. No. That was we have moved on.
I was trying to help him too.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh is on the other end of Twitter with a burner account. He got a burner account. Say, Joe got a lot of good football, just not here.
Wow.
Because guess what, Skip? There's an injury clause in Joe Flacco's contract. He get injured, they probably go be on the hook for about 20 plus million.
That's another.
And Baltimore said, we're moving on.
So when it got really dire and desperate, 9 minutes left in the game, a lot of fans in the first few rows were booing young Lamar.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Smith, the cornerback, went over and was chastising them, scolding them, saying, hey, he's the reason we got this far.
Thank you.
He should have won 7 games because he had Kansas City
He had him on the road.
24-17, but he did win 6 out of 7 to get them this far. So God bless him. I'm glad he bounced back. That'll bode well for him going into next year.
And they've been in playoff mode, Skip. Because think about it. They had to basically win all their games because Pittsburgh had built what we thought was an insurmountable lead. Everybody, Pittsburgh winning this division. Pittsburgh trying to get, because at one point they're 7-2-1. They're in the running for getting one of those first two buys.
I thought
so. Now all of a sudden, this kid gets in there, and Marty Morning Week's credit, John Harbaugh, they put him in a system where he can benefit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's college-esque. Yes, it's high school and playground. But Skip, we're trying to win games. So instead of trying to bang, let him run Joe Flacco's offense. Let's let him run what he's comfortable, and we're gonna build upon that. Now, guess what? They get Lamar Jackson's undivided attention. Now, you see Lamar? You're gonna have to get better at throwing the football. Running is fine. We don't want to inhibit you from running the football. But if you can't throw in this league, you can't survive.
It's like we know what he can do.
Yeah. So build upon that.
I would agree. But he showed me he can run it and stay pretty healthy.
Yes.
I like his survival instinct.
But early in the game, Skip, I thought he took a shot that was unnecessary. He was running on the left sideline. He was running. He could have just got on out of bounds. He had already picked up.
I know exactly the play you're talking about. But the DBs are still a little queasy about really striking it, like really.
Going to get up out of bounds now.
And he's young, guys. It's his 22nd birthday today, actually.
Youngest quarterback ever to start in the Super Bowl era.
You're right. So, 22 years old. This is just the beginning.
Because think about it, Skip. There are very few quarterbacks that make the playoffs their rookie year, let alone play well in their first playoff game.
That's a good point. And he got them to that point.
So now the Chargers get to go up to Foxborough and lose.
And then we've got
congratulations.
A different perspective.
Yeah, congratulations.
The 2 oldest
quarterbacks
combined age. But we'll talk about them later, because next up we're going to talk about Dak. And Shannon has been giving him these horrible grades.
Horrible grades.
All season long.
Horrible.
What grade is Shannon going to give him next?
No mercy.
Dak Prescott led the Cowboys to his first career playoff win Saturday against the Seahawks. He finished with a touchdown pass and interception, but he also added a key run for a first down late in the fourth quarter that set up his own touchdown run. After the game, Ezekiel Elliott said Dak played like a, quote, grown-ass man. Shannon, the interview was incredible. I love the energy. You could just feel it. All right, what grade would you give Dak for the performance? And I want an honest grade, Shannon.
Honest, Shannon. Come on, be objective for once in your undisputed life.
Okay. Going back and forth about this, stayed up late at night. I gave him a B-.
That's pretty good.
Pretty honest.
Shannon Sharpe.
I couldn't give him an A because he turned the ball over.
Okay, fair.
So let's throw that out. turned the ball over in the red zone in the fourth quarter when they're up by 3. Maybe that would have been the nail in the coffin there, Skip. But he gave Seattle life. I felt early on he was off target on some throws. And again, he's dinking and dunking the ball, Skip. 6.8 yards attempt. Only 10 of his 19 throws. Only 10 of 19 travel beyond 5 yards. What am I supposed to do with that, Skip? What am I supposed to do with that? Again, dinking and dunking.
My turn?
No!
I'll go. Are you asking me or asking her?
No, I asked you. I'm looking at you.
No.
I ain't asked Jenny
You're asking
anything.
for help?
No, I'm not asking Jenny. I did not ask for Jenny.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
But anyway.
You're asking me questions I cannot answer.
You can answer. You just know you choose not to. But anyway, stop interrupting me. Only 4 of his
That's funny.
Only 4 of his throws were over 15 yards. He was 1 for 4 with an interception. That's not very good. But I will give him kudos, Skip, on basically a throwaway down. On 3rd and 14, we're going to run the quarterback draw. And he went and got 16 yards. That was huge. Now, notice they put the ball in his hands. No, they put the ball in his legs. You see what he did there, Jenny? Like on third and 5, you think they run the quarterback draw with Tom Brady? On 3rd and 5, they run the quarterback draw with Drew Brees? That's none of my business, Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
I gave him a B- and now leave me alone before I change my mind and give him a C.
You want to go C?
No,
let you go C.
I give him a B-.
Yeah.
I give him a B- because that was huge. First playoff win. Had he not turned the football over, even against the only one throw completion over 15 yards, a bunch of his throws were dinking and dunking. Had he not turned the ball over, I would have given him an A.
So Jenny can't help you on this one because now it's my turn. Thank you very much. And I'm going to grade Dak Prescott with extreme objectivity this time, but I always do. Dak Prescott gets an A for that.
Stop
He gets an A because that was,
Solid
you just
A.
said it. You just said it. He won a home playoff game by outplaying a quarterback you said he could not outplay. The whole thrust of my prediction on Friday was Dak Prescott will outplay Russell Wilson. And the numbers say he got outplayed.
That's
Russell
what the
Wilson
numbers
did.
say. Numbers don't say
The
that.
QBR says 74-70 in favor of Dak Prescott.
Quarterback rating says Russell Wilson was 105.9 and
Yeah,
Dak
I'll go
Prescott
with-
was 83.6.
See, this is what I love about QBR because it takes into account everything you do with your arm and your legs. Is it legal for the quarterback to run with the football?
No!
I don't know. Last time I checked, it was legal that the quarterback has the ability to actually cross the line of scrimmage with the ball under his arm running it. And it counts. It counts.
But when I use that,
You can sneak it into the end zone, and it counts.
well, then why do you subtract against Aaron Rodgers when I use that argument? He has better legs than Tom Brady. You said Tom Brady just throw the ball because he's so good at it.
I know, but Tom Brady is such a great thrower of the football. He doesn't need his legs.
Oh, so
He just doesn't need
are
them.
you saying Dak Prescott's not a great thrower of the football?
I've said that all along.
Oh,
He's not
okay,
a great thrower,
that's
but
all.
he's
But
a
you
really
gave him an A.
he's a good thrower of the
You
football.
gave
He's
him an
not a
A.
great thrower. He deserves an A because who made the 2 key plays of the whole football game? You can argue of the whole Cowboy season. He did in the red zone where they've been stymied again and again, where they have been psychologically just strapped, where they can't figure out how to get in the end zone. He said, I'm going to do it. Give it to me. And I just showed you a couple of topics ago, he ran through the entire Seattle defense twice.
Ain't nobody touch him. One guy touched it late.
I don't know what it was, but it's like we don't want any part of that.
Okay, you said he made the 2 throws. He made the 2 key plays. But what about the play that he didn't make in the red zone?
Which one?
That was that interception.
I'm glad you brought that up because I do not fault Dak Prescott for this interception. Well, can we look at the interception again because he, unfortunately, this is a little bit of a trick play. It's Noah Brown sort of fakes like he's going to block, and then he goes. This is a good throw that has to be caught by a receiver who is 6 feet 2 inches tall and 225 pounds out of The Ohio State. And I can't remember if Jenny Taft was there that night, but if we go back 2 college seasons ago, the first time The Ohio State played the University of Oklahoma, we're going back, it's now 3 full football seasons. It was in Norman, Oklahoma on a Saturday night, second week of the year, and Noah Brown destroyed my Sooners. He got 4 touchdown passes from J.T. Barrett, and that elevated him to get drafted in the 7th round by the Dallas Cowboys because he is not a burner, but he is 6'2", and he can get up for jump balls, and you have got to make this play. listen, KJ Wright played the heck out of this play.
did.
He did not buy it.
Keys, yep.
You know, it's a fake block and then try to escape, and he was all over it. And KJ Wright is 6 feet 4 inches tall, but if Noah Brown has any salt in his body, he's just got to go up.
Why you throwing it to Noah Brown?
I don't know. I guess thought you'd trick them because they aren't looking for 85.
What about O'Barwin?
What about
Blake Jarwin?
Shannon Jarwin.
Yeah. What happened to him?
He caught a couple balls in the game.
Yeah, he should have run that.
He caught him back to back. Well, he probably couldn't have faked him out because they would have been looking for him.
Oh, they're looking for him.
They know
so now he's a touchdown maker.
He's Hall of Fame
now.
now.
Oh, now he's a touchdown maker. So everybody.
He's a touchdown maker. So they probably, you know what? They probably doubled Blake Jarwin on that play. I'm just assuming. But Noah Brown has to go up and fight for the football because KJ Wright just took it away from him. Yeah. It's not a bad throw. It's on target.
And now it was behind him, back shoulder.
It's a touch late, just a touch.
It's got to be out here.
Okay, but the point is, you got to make that play. You got to make that catch. You're Noah Brown. You're there for that kind of pass. Right. And he didn't make the play. And then Noah Brown had a terrible penalty late in the game. I don't know what he's doing when he didn't get set, but whatever. So we look at 22 of 33 for 226, a touchdown and the interception. But that touchdown throw, he had just missed the fade throw to Michael Gallup, and he went right back to him, and it was sweet, man. He dropped it right down the chimney.
Like Aaron Rodgers did them last year. Remember Aaron Rodgers? He missed Devontae? Yeah, and he went right back to him again.
Unfortunately, that was against my team.
I know. Oh, was it? Oh, I didn't know. I know. I thought I saw that somewhere.
That was against my miniature defensive back, but that's okay. That's okay. So the point is, Dak Prescott played, to me, the best overall game of the season against a quarterback who is highly capable.
I thought you said that was Jacksonville.
Huh?
I thought you said he played his best against Jacksonville.
Well, you told me Jacksonville was dead in the water at that point.
Oh, they were.
But that was in the first half. They just went.
But I thought you. What about in Philly? You told me he played his best in Philly.
No, I think. Well, the stakes are these not high stakes on Saturday night? So and by the way, when you talk about Dink and Dak, so Dak Prescott finished 19th in the NFL in the regular season in yards per attempt.
19th. Is that good? That's average, right?
Okay. Below him came Cam Newton and Andrew Luck. You love Andrew Luck. Yeah. So Andrew Luck is actually a dink and dunker.
No, Skip.
Yeah.
If you take away the first month of the season, when he was checked down Charlie,
yep.
I give you that. But since then, what about those numbers when he had 8 straight games?
I'm glad you brought that up because let's look at what happened in the 2 Saturday playoff games, both in Texas, one in Houston, one in Dallas. In the first one in Houston, Texas, Andrew Luck had 2 long completions of 38 yards to T.Y. Hilton and then 21 yards. So he had 38 and 21. Those were his 2 long completions of that whole game. Dak Prescott's 2 long completions were 34 yards and 27 yards, both to Amari Cooper. So if I add up the 2 longest completions by both quarterbacks, Andrew Luck's 2 added up to 59 yards. Dak's added up to 61 yards. So Dak actually had 2+ yards on Andrew Luck on long completions. So I don't know. It still looks like Andrew Luck is dinking and dacking to me.
Well, I'm looking at it like this.
Does.
Okay, Dak was 22 of 33 for 226. Andrew Luck was 19 of 32 for 222. 2 touchdowns.
Interesting.
I mean, so my guy, old Andrew, Captain Andrew, will finish second in the MVP balloting.
Well, you can have that because I want my guy. But I'm going to be rooting like crazy for your guy, Andrew Luck, because your bigger guy, my homeboy, might just be in trouble because Andrew Luck's got the best offensive line in football and the best running back.
I know what you're trying to do, Skip.
I don't know.
What he's trying to do, Jenny, what he wants to have happen is that he wants Indy to upset Kansas City. The Patriots win, so now they get Indy to come in the fight. I see y'all through those.
You know what? Shannon Sharpe is actually starting to figure out how this works. It took 2.5 years.
It ain't gonna happen.
You're starting to figure it out.
It ain't.
I don't know. Andrew Luck's got it going, man. I love Andrew Luck.
Hold on. Yeah. So you just discounting the Chargers, huh?
Chargers? Yeah. I mean, that's a gimme.
Interesting.
Oh, you know, now you know A-Lynn, you know they watch the show, right?
Good.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Hello, Anthony.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the Chargers next.
And good luck and condolences.
No.
You and Gus
Condolences. Too soon for that.
Okay.
Should Tom Brady be scared of the Chargers? I have a feeling that he's got something to say about that next.
No mercy.
So Phillip Rivers Rivers and the Chargers struggled on offense against the Ravens yesterday, but they still got the win 23-17. Now they're a 4.5-point underdog on the road against Tom Brady and the Patriots. Brady has dominated in his career against Rivers, winning all 7 of their matchups. Shannon, who's got the edge in this one, Chargers or Patriots?
I like the Chargers because I think they'll have better success moving the ball against this defense than they had against Baltimore. Now, they're dealing with a different animal on the other side of the ball and Tom Brady's ability to throw the football down the field. But I felt, looking at this game yesterday between San Diego and the Ravens, the way Phillip Rivers played this game and the way Ken Wisenhunt, the offensive coordinator, called this game, they knew if they didn't turn the football over, give up a pick six, scoop and score, the likelihood of the Ravens scoring enough points offensively was not very good. So the way Phillip threw the ball, he didn't take a whole lot of chances. He didn't put the ball in harm's way, and they felt they could come away with a win doing as minimal as possible. You take risk against this Baltimore's defense, they're going to normally make you pay one way or another. So, and Skip, you told me all year this is the worst defense that Coach Belichick's ever fielded.
Correct.
So, with that being said, would you think New England's defense is better than Baltimore?
No.
In any area?
No.
Stopping the run, pass rush, secondary?
No.
Now, maybe they have one individual player that's better than anybody that Baltimore has in their secondary. Gilmore, not only did he make the Pro Bowl, he was a first-team All-Pro, but as a collection, I think the secondary of Baltimore is better than New England. Now, the question is, we know when you play the Patriots, especially at home in a playoff game, can you get to 28? Because I believe that's what it's going to probably take to beat Tom Brady in that building. Second, can you get to 28? Second, can you get Tom Brady off that spot?
Yeah.
Now, Joey Bosa missed the first 7 games of the season. He came back, had 5.5 sacks in the regular season. He got a sack yesterday. Melvin Ingram. So they can get pressure. The question is, can they collapse the pocket from the inside to force Tom Brady outside? Because Tom, if you come around the edges, they'll just push you wide, and Tom will step up and throw the football. I believe the Chargers can have a lot of success, and we don't have to pick this game yet, but I did pick the Chargers to go to Super Bowl, so I'm just going to leave that right there.
So you're not going to back off, are you? You're not going to do a little moonwalk on this one?
And when you give me them 4.5 points, I'm going to get me some due.
Really?
Yep.
4.5, not that many, actually. So Vegas is paying respect to Phillip Rivers and company,
Yes.
right?
That's true.
As should you. But you disrespected them, so you will pay dearly.
So I do congratulate you on your preseason pick of the Chargers because that was a good one. But my preseason pick was Tom Brady.
Your
and I'm
preseason pick
sticking
was
with
chalk.
it.
Chalk.
Yeah.
You made the same pick for the AFC for the
Chalk.
last 12 years.
Yeah, you know what? The rest of the team is made of chalk this year. That's right. The rest, it's the worst defense Belichick has ever fielded. It's the worst core of receivers that Tom Brady's ever gone into a playoff game with. What am I supposed to do with that except 41-year-old Tom Brady? And use that magic word again, as Eric Dickerson calls him. He's an old-ass man, right?
He is.
Old-ass man.
In football terms.
Yep. Okay, so which way am I leaning on this game? I am leaning heavily toward the old-ass man. That's what I'm doing because,
Surprise.
Let's see, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers. I think I'm going to go with Tom Brady in Foxborough.
Sooner or later, Phillip Rivers got to get a dub.
Really? Okay. So Tom Brady, as Jenny points out, is 7-0 lifetime against Phillip Rivers.
Wow.
That's 5-0 in the regular season, 2-0 at Foxborough.
The Patriots.
Correct.
Oh, the
Are
Patriots
7-0 against San Diego. You see what you do? You see now? When Tom Brady wins, it's Tom Brady. When he loses, Coach Belichick has surrounded him with a horrible defense. It's the worst set of receivers Tom Brady has ever had. You see what he did, Jenny? Oh, Skip Bayless, I catch it. I catch it.
Well, now the proof is just going to be on the scoreboard on, is it Sunday? I can't remember.
This one?
Sunday.
Sunday, right?
So I just want to know, when the Chargers win this game, who we blaming? Is it Coach Belichick? Is it Sonny Michel in the non-run game?
That's
or
a
is it the defense?
hypothetical I don't need to answer because it ain't happening.
It's happening.
Yep. So, you know what I love about your Chargers? That they are 8-1 on the road now. 8-1.
Road warrior.
Is that good?
That's the road
that is
dog.
really good. And,
Yep.
and the one game they lost on the road, quote unquote, was about a couple of miles away from where they play in Los Angeles because they lost to the Rams at the Coliseum. So it wasn't even really sort of a road type game.
Can you understand why they like playing on the road? Do you see that home stadium?
I do. And I got that. And this is a loaded football team. On paper, top to bottom, it's a much better team except at quarterback. And Philip Rivers yesterday had a quiet game. And I will give you this. He played as clean a big game as I have ever seen Philip play. And to your point, if you throw it up for grabs against Baltimore, they will make you pay for it.
Absolutely.
And there were turnovers and there were long returns, but there wasn't an interception that was a game turner. So what did Philip Rivers wind up with? Not much. Because he threw for 160, 22 of 32 for 160 yards. You like that? I mean, Dak and Dunk.
I do. I love that.
Dak and Dunk threw for only 226, but that's way better than 160, right?
So what do you think he'd have done against that defense?
Against who? Dallas?
Yeah, Dallas.
Well, he'd have a long day. It's hard, man.
What do you think Dak would have done against Baltimore's defense?
About the same.
Yeah.
About the same. Yeah, they'd be pretty, because they got Zeke, and Zeke would have run.
Whoa. No. I ain't talking about Zeke.
No.
I don't need to talk about Zeke. Why are we mentioning Zeke when we talk about Dak?
Because you always tell me that Zeke's the man.
He is. But now, all of a sudden, he goes against a stingy defense. You're like, oh, Zeke would have run the ball.
You want to talk about a rude awakening? You want to talk about a culture shock? How about going from Lamar Jackson to Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Woo.
How about going
are you saying what they did to Lamar Jackson got them ready for what they're about to encounter?
What a culture! What a culture shock! Going from the number 2 ranked defense to going to the 20th ranked defense.
Yeah, it is.
Woo! How about this here? I bet Philip Rivers has more than $160 on Sunday.
Really? Well,
yeah.
Against that defense?
Whoa.
That Blake Bortles threw for 373 against?
Oh.
That Matt Stafford threw a party against?
Well,
really?
considering that considering Tom Brady had 3 games of scoring 10 points, what they got to do with his defense?
Who's got the number 2 seed and sitting at home working on his delivery? He had the great Tom House, who resides here at USC.
Yeah.
He flew him in last week as his throwing doctor, his guru. He flew all the way to Foxborough just to be with Tom Brady because he works hard. He's going to clean up that delivery. He's going to have it perfect by the time Philip Rivers arrives.
Watch me closely. Watch me.
Yeah, I
this
see.
This is my eyes to the left. This is my eyes to the right.
Yeah.
Watch it go round and round.
A lot of action there.
Really?
Skip, baby, you make me sick. And Tom Brady, I'll tell you what, you know what?
Tom House fixed it. Whatever needed to get fixed, it got fixed. He flew all the way from Los Angeles to Foxborough.
I don't care if he flew out Eddie House. He going down on Sunday at 3:30. All the shouting gonna be over.
Eddie House could really shoot.
Yeah, he could shoot it.
Yeah.
So
he could shoot it in Boston.
All I'm saying is, Skip Bayless, you make it seem like, and granted, Tom Brady is a very, very exotic animal when it comes to Lamar Jackson. But the defenses are very different. And I believe, and Philip Rivers knows, you can't play that concern. When you play the Patriots, you can't play not to lose. You have to play to win. And too many times, we see teams will get ahead of them. Even in their building, they get up by 7, they get up by 10. And all of a sudden, the play calling changed. I believe that's what happened to them last year when they played Jacksonville.
Yep.
They got conservative with Blake Bortles. They get conservative. I believe Ken Wisenhunt and Philip Rivers will keep the pedal to the metal, and they will spring. You call it an upset. I don't, because I saw this thing coming. I saw it coming.
Well, so Philip Rivers is now 5-5 lifetime in the playoffs, and he's nearing the end of the line, so the pressure mounts. And he should go up there and beat Tom Brady at 41.
Oh, you don't think no pressure's on Tom Brady? Because guess what? He has a bad playoff game. He's 41. What is everybody going to say, Skip? I told you the end is here. He's stepping off the cliff. Hey, I'm just telling you, so the pressure is on Tom, too. Because guess who's charting? Oh, you all see Coach Belichick? Coach Belichick pulled that note card out right there. Yeah, it's time to move on.
You know, I know for sure Tom Brady has eyes and ears who monitored this show and what you say about Tom Brady, and it serves as huge motivation.
Well, I hope he's watching. And Coach Belichick got some guys watching, and Mr. Kraft I know for certain watching because he told me at the Hall of Fame.
Oh, great.
And he sent me a pair of shoes, too.
Yeah, well, so he's okay. He's good with you.
Oh, Mr. Kraft is
Tom
great.
Brady didn't send you a pair of shoes.
No, hold on.
No, I get it. I know how it works.
It goes, for me, old Shay Sharp,
Yeah.
it's Mr. Kraft, number 1.
Yep.
Bill Coach Belichick, number 2.
Yeah.
And I like Tommy.
Tommy now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Tommy
Come
is
on, Doc, I'm about to retire.
19-3 at home in the playoffs.
He taking this, he about to be
So it's pretty hard to root against that. 19-3.
Oh, he about to be 19-4.
Really?
19-4.
You're up against
not 4.
I'm
4.
not so sure
It's going to be
about that.
fun watching you this week start to sweat over there. The more it starts to sink in, soak in, that
It's
wait,
over.
I'm picking against Tom Brady in Foxborough? Really?
It's over, Skip.
Yeah.
and I can just hear it right now.
Okay.
I gave my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough.
Whew, okay.
So you are so convicted about this that let's just start off right now. I'll do 2 cases of due on Tom Brady right now, straight.
No. We got time. It's Monday.
Well,
it's Monday.
You were so sold on your.
I still am. I ain't going nowhere.
So you're just going to let that.
I am going to let that thing
I just offered you.
Because I might. While you over there bumping and you keep on poking the bear, I might go 3 cases.
Really?
And I might take no points.
Okay.
I might be willing to give you some points. You keep on bumping them.
Okay, I'll take 3 points.
You keep on bumping them over there.
Could it be quite the week?
Is that a deal?
We're gonna see.
Done?
Yeah. You keep on bumping them gums over there I'm scared, like a Phillip Rivers scared of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He ain't scared.
You're scared of Tom Brady.
Old Melvin Ingram got something for him. Old Cap Bosa.
Talk about a different quarterback who definitely doesn't seem scared lately. Will Nick Foles' magic run continue next week in New Orleans? We'll discuss that with D'Angelo Hall. He is here next.
No mercy.
The Eagles advanced to the next round of the playoffs yesterday after Cody Parkey missed a field goal in the final seconds. Now, they'll have to go to New Orleans, where they were blown out by 41 points back in November. But there's one big difference. Carson Wentz was the quarterback then, and he was picked off 3 times. Well, Nick Foles is the QB now, and he's won his last 4 playoff starts. We're joined by FS1 NFL analyst D'Angelo Hall. Good to have you back.
Good morning. Good to be back.
D'Angelo, all right, what shot do you give the Eagles against the Saints?
Well, I would normally say 0 in that place, but it's something about Nick Foles, man.
Thank you.
It is something about Nick Foles, and I don't want to battle hype. My cousin's a big Eagles fan. And I tell a story all the time how I gave away the Super Bowl tickets last year because Carson Wentz got hurt, and I said there's no way they'll make it, and they made it. And so he was out of Super Bowl tickets.
No way.
But, yeah, man, it's something about Nick Foles and what he's been doing this season, especially when he got in. Gosh, I mean, I give him probably a slim chance because it's crazy to play in that place. It is absolutely crazy. But to
Did
see
you ever win a game there? You remember? Doubtful.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
But not a playoff game, not a night game, not a primetime game.
Had everything.
Because, I mean, that atmosphere just gets one of the craziest stadiums I've ever been in. But, I mean, this Eagles team is playing very, very well. This defense, you think about how banged up their secondary is, but that front still able to get pressure and make those DBs' jobs easier. And they're making plays. Like, I'm watching dudes who weren't even supposed to be on the field making plays against number 1 receivers. And so whenever I sit back and watch this Eagles team, it's just some magic that's going on with Nick Foles right now that gives me the just gives me the belief that they got a chance, man. Because when you believe, you can do anything.
Yeah. And that's what they do. They believe in Nick Foles. I give them a small chance also. I don't think it'll be a blowout. It's not going to be 48-7. I would be shocked if it's scored that lopsided again. The Eagles defense, this is not the same Eagles defense that went down there probably 6-7 weeks ago and gave up 48 points. They've been in playoff mode for about a month. Since they lost that game to the Cowboys, they knew they had to win out, and they have to have some good fortunes or some misfortunes from someone else. But I still think they're vulnerable in the back end. I thought Trubisky, although he didn't play bad, I thought he missed some throws that I don't believe Drew Brees will miss. The thing that concerns me about the Saints is that somehow teams always seems to find Eli Apple. So whomever he's guarding, is somehow the ball finds that receiver.
And he's not as bad as he looks.
Yeah, he is.
He's actually, no, Shannon, I'm sitting here watching the dude. He's in good position a lot of times. Yeah. Like, I'm watching Julio Jones. I mean, he's right there.
It's like
guys are just making plays.
What my grandpa used to say, he a blind dog in a meat house. You know what I'm saying? He can smell all the meat that's all around him, but he can't see nothing.
He ain't made a play.
So, yeah, he right there in position, but he ain't making not one play on the ball.
But and I know, cornerbacks can, you know this better than anybody, you can lose your confidence.
And he looks like he looks like he doesn't have that confidence that he plays with.
Then you can't find the ball anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm not overly concerned that you look at the Saints, Skip, and they went through this, and I hate saying there a correlation, but the year they won the Super Bowl, they had a swoon, and it just so happened, you look back at it, they played Tampa, they played Dallas, they played Carolina, they lost, and they won, and they lost, and blah, 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 all these things. But I just believe that they'll get back. Sean Payton has a week off to prepare and get this team ready to go. This is what last year was about, because they felt that they had unfinished business. They feel they were supposed to be heading on a plane, leaving Minnesota, going to Philly. So they feel this matchup is 1 year too late. So they want to rectify what they feel they could have, because Alvin Kamara said, man, we'd have beat the brakes off them. That's not what he said, but I'm paraphrasing. That they would have beaten Philly and they would have gone to the Super Bowl. So now they get a chance. I believe the game will be a lot closer, Skip. I believe, but there is a small chance, because once you get into this, it's one game. And in one game, anything can happen. But I say there's a 10% chance they win in New Orleans.
So what would happen if the Bears had opted that final regular season game against Minnesota just to mail it in? Just rest on your laurels.
They wouldn't be.
Guess what? There'd be no Eagles to deal with, right?
Crazy.
It's crazy. Things happen at the end of years where everything turns on its head, and all of a sudden the football gods decree that this team is going to do this. And all of a sudden, St. Nick has got it going again. And we keep bringing this up, but I'm going to bring it up one more time. Chris Long created a shrine in his locker to St. Nick, and Fletcher Cox participated in it, and it showed you what that locker room thinks of him. They believe in him, and it's weird because his body language doesn't scream leader or alpha dog, or he doesn't have the big bad body language of a franchise quarterback. But I got to tell you, when it's time to make plays and make throws, he somehow reaches back and gets a little extra velocity. Like sometimes I think he has a sub-average arm, and then all of a sudden he made a couple of throws. That one to Alshon on 3rd and 15, he had some mustard on the ball.
Now, Skip, do you remember early in the season when Nick Foles was the starter and guys were like, well, we can't wait to get Carson back. Carson just has a little more energy. And now you get Nick Foles, and they're like, we want Nick, we're sad Carson's hurt, but Nick's going to bring that calming force that we need. And so it's kind of like, which one really works for them. But if Nick Foles gets this team to the Super Bowl, what offseason will they have in Philly?
I don't know. I'm going to say this
When
one more time. I told this man this because he loves Carson Wentz. And I respect Carson Wentz's ability in a vacuum. Stronger arm than Nick Foles, better mobility
athletic.
when he's healthy, just a bigger, more strappy. He has more physicality. Nick Foles is 6'6", but he's willowy and he doesn't have any physicality to him. But when it's time to play, time to operate as a quarterback in this offense, Nick Foles is just better than Carson Wentz. He just is. I just see it. I see the plays made.
He is. And Nick Foles is how old? I mean,
Nick Foles can't be more than 29, 30.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking the way NFL quarterbacks are playing till they 40, it ain't a conversation I want to have as a general manager, but somebody's going to have this conversation like, hey, look, if Nick Foles gets us back to the promised land, is it worth saying, hey, Carson, you got a couple years left on your deal, let's get something major for him?
I am giving St. Nick a better shot at New Orleans than you two are, because if I look at on paper these two football teams, I think it's pretty close between these two.
They got a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Huh?
They got a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I got it. In that building, he is virtually, well, he's never lost with him.
I mean, his gold jacket's hanging up with Shannon.
I got that. But to your point about what happened when it was 48-7 at midseason, that was when they were flying the highest. And Carson Wentz was the quarterback, and he goes in there and throws for 156 yards and 3 interceptions. No touchdowns, 3 interceptions. They got wiped out. The yardage were 546 for New Orleans to 196 for Philly. And the rush yards were 173 to 58. They got blown off that carpet. It was over like that.
That was the difference, is that you can't stop that run.
And let me tell you something. With the Saints, it's not going to be trying to run the ball down the Eagles' throats. Like, the Eagles faced some teams down the stretch that kind of played into their hands.
They did.
Especially you think about this Chicago team. The Chicago team didn't want to sit back and throw it all over the yard. They wanted to pound that running game at you, let Trubinsky get out the pocket, use his athleticism to make some plays. New Orleans is going to throw that ball all over the yard. All over the yard. And when we're talking about this struggling secondary, Drew's going to get that ball out of his hands and not give Fletcher Cox and Michael Bennett the chance to even rush him.
When was the last time Drew Brees looked like the Drew Brees we saw for the first
Proud
9
of Dallas.
games? Dallas.
Yeah, probably.
Dallas did a number on them psychologically. It was 13-10, obviously, at Jerry World, and they never quite got it back. They went to Tampa and they kind of slugged it out with them, and then they pulled away 28-14 on a block punt. Remember that?
Yep.
Well,
and then they went to Carolina and won 12-9, and then they played pretty well against Pittsburgh. Boy, it was dicey. It could have gone either way, and then they got to mail it in against Carolina. So they really haven't played that Drew Brees, high-flying New Orleans football since pre-Dallas. It's been a long time. They lost their way at the end of the year. So, again, Philly found its way, and it's going to find its way down to New Orleans, and it just wouldn't shock me at all if Nick Foles pulls this off.
It would shock me just because I just think the Saints are just a more superior team than Philly is. I think the only thing that has me like, man, Philly has a chance is because of that Nick Foles element that you don't know what to expect.
And just remember, they are protecting him at a high level because they did a really good
Yeah,
job.
I mean, you think about it. Peters is probably going to go to the Hall of Fame. Lane Johnson is a former All-Pro Pro Bowl player. Barrett Brooks is a current
Barrett
Pro
Brooks
Bowl.
is a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah, All-Pro player. So Kelsey is an All-Pro.
Yeah, Kelsey's
so it's not
All-Pro.
like they make it seem like they got some walk-ons at offensive line. They got a very good.
On paper, that could be as good as there is, right?
And they're finally starting to play well together.
Okay.
That's the thing. If you look at the teams that's in the playoffs, for the most part, all of them got really good offensive lines. You look at Indy. You look at Kansas City.
Okay.
You look at New Orleans. You look at Philly. The teams that are here, they got good offensive lines now. They protect.
Think about this. Alshon, Aguilar, Golden Tate, Zach Ertz. That's pretty good, man.
No,
That's some
is.
firepower,
It
right?
is. It's a lot
Now,
of
they don't
firepower.
run the ball very well. They couldn't run a lick yesterday, but it didn't seem to matter.
Well, they better find some answers to Michael Thomas. Because he's going to get like 100,
Okay, but we've been
100
saying
targets.
Okay, we've been saying all year. It's sort of him or bust, right?
Kamara out the backfield too. They got some ways, and that New Orleans offense, they don't really care who the guy is besides Michael Thomas, but they'll throw all these other guys in and run on different routes. And Ted Ginn's back, the speed guy.
That's the thing.
Smith,
because he has the ability. They didn't face him last time, Skip.
Yeah.
So he has the ability to take the top off the coverage, and he's very good in the return game.
But that's what makes that offense scary. It doesn't matter.
No, stop hoping. No, it would not be nothing.
If the NFC Championship
No, it wouldn't. No, it
was
wouldn't.
at
No,
Jerry
no,
World?
stop trying to speak it into existence.
Philly and
No,
Dallas?
it's not going to happen.
Could you see that?
No, I can't see it.
I can't see it.
I'm taking
I
my,
can't
you
see
know
the
what? As a
Saints
matter of fact,
and
I'm
the
taking my
Rams.
glasses off. I can't see nothing.
Losing to give you that, but
He doesn't want to think about
we'll
it.
see.
That's all he want to do. You try to be
That'll
slick.
be
You better put your glasses back on because you're going to see something.
You try to speak it into
He got a
existence.
lot of things
Yeah,
going
that's
on
what he
for
want to
that
do.
to
Speak it
happen.
into
You gotta have
existence. It
5
ain't happening.
things.
Speaking it into
Not a lot of
existence.
things.
The Rams
Two
got to
things.
lose. The Saints got to lose.
Okay, that's it. Period.
There
And
you
y'all
go.
got to win.
Simple. And so does Nick Foles.
On that note, are the Cowboys starting to look like a Super Bowl team? Let's
Y'all
get
go home.
D'Angelo's take on this one.
No mercy.
There you have it. The Cowboys are moving on after beating the Seahawks on Saturday night. D'Angelo Hall back with us. D'Angelo, how impressive were those Cowboys?
They were good. They were good. They were good. And the whole time I'm watching the game, I'm not rooting for them.
Sure.
But I also know, man, when I come in to work Mondays, he gonna talk my head off.
Sure.
But
Especially about one guy.
yeah, about Dak. But I mean,
See, why everybody know that, Skip?
this is.
Why does everybody hate Dak Prescott?
Everybody
I mean, we don't hate Dak Prescott.
But you just
we
don't believe in him.
I mean, we just know what he is, and he is a good quarterback. But I think you want to make Dak Prescott an elite quarterback, a great quarterback. Now, we've seen good quarterbacks win Super Bowls. We've seen good quarterbacks get paid a lot of money. We've seen good quarterbacks. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
But Dak Prescott is very, very good. But you also have to
You
remember
go from good to very, very good. That's pretty good.
But it's a
right?
team game. It's a team game. And the
Okay.
way that team's built, by running the ball with Ezekiel, having that offensive line be the strength of that offense, having a guy like Amari Cooper who's very explosive.
He
and I
is.
said it from the jump. This dude's hard to cover.
He's hard to
And
cover.
so I don't know why Oakland thought he couldn't play because the kid can play. And that defense, Rob
Khalil Mack can
Marinelli
play.
doesn't get a lot of credit. Man, he's had that defense rolling rolling. Chris Richard, he's had that defense rolling.
I'm afraid
that secondary
we're gonna lose him
are some names
quickly
that aren't really big names, but they've made plays. And so this Dallas team can win, but they're facing a different animal. Like playing Seattle is a lot different than going to play New Orleans.
Yep.
Very different. Different guys have different pressure on them. Like I'm not gonna say it's easy to stop the run, but you can be a lot more confident stopping the run than you can relying on your secondary to stop the pass and saying, well, shoot, this got to work. We got to get the pass rush. Like, there's a lot of different elements that go into this Dallas team on defense that I don't know if they can get that all figured out to stop a guy like Drew Brees. Yeah.
They won the line of scrimmage on both offense and defensive line because they choked off the number one running attack in football, Seattle, Carson, Penny, and even when you throw Russell Wilson in, they were unable to do anything, Skip. But the Cowboys, you look at the two teams that went well over 100 yards in the rush game, the Colts and the Cowboys.
Yep.
The Colts got 3 first-rounders from center to left, a second-round pick and right tackle. Look at the Cowboys. Tyron Smith, top 10 pick in a 2011. Zach Martin, another high-quality pick. Now, I think, Skip, you have to give him credit. You didn't hear his name on Saturday. Connor Williams. You didn't hear his name.
He hung in there.
That's
I saw it one time. They ran a stunt, and he just didn't pick it up because he's a raw rookie out of Texas, second-round pick. And Frank Clark got home.
Yeah, that was a tremendous move, his first step. But Skip, here's the thing. This is how the Cowboys win games because they need to keep it in third and manageable. Because when you start getting 3rd and 8, 3rd and long, Dak struggles with that, Skip. He's only 1 of 6 on 3rd and 8 plus on Saturday. But you look at the situation where it's 3rd and 3, the run game is still in play. There are very few times now they did pick up a 3rd and 14. How they picked up on a 3rd and, come on, you can't let that happen on 3rd and 14, let the quarterback get sick. But we'll talk about that later. What Zeke allows the Cowboys to do more than anything is control the tempo. They limit the opposing team's offense being on the field. So that was almost a 10-minute time of possession, 35 to 25. And when you can possess the football, you have an excellent chance of winning the game. That's what Zeke allows you to do.
Yep.
And then on 3rd and 1, he goes 44. Another 3rd down, he picks up 17. So it's the culmination. Not saying Dak is not a tier 1 quarterback. He's not tier 2. Pro Football Focus says he's middle of the road. They had him 18.
Okay.
You love Pro Football Focus, right, Skip?
No.
So, you don't love it now. Now you don't love it. Now, you told me, Jenny, didn't he tell us the other day? They got a lot of general.
When is it my turn? I'm tired of hearing all this.
It's your turn.
Yeah.
It's your turn now.
Skip.
So you guys aren't seeing the forest for the trees because the trees just keep growing taller and taller.
Deforestation,
Dallas,
we cut them down.
Dallas, Texas, growing quickly.
You never go
My
back
team
there this
has
year.
won 8 out of 9 games. Is that good?
That's good.
And that's at the right time of the year to win 8 out of 9 games. And I got to tell you, I like my defense because it can rise and shine.
Oh, you like them now when you say they underachieved the last 2 weeks.
Well, there was 4 weeks. They were in a slump, but boy, they snapped out of it. When it was time to rise and shine on the biggest stage at Jerry World on Saturday night on Fox, that's the biggest stage you can get on, and they're back on that stage this Saturday night. My defense came to play. It is capable of playing at an extremely high level. And I like my running back, and if you want to give him more credit, God bless you. I don't really care at this time of year because I'm glad he's on my side and not on the Rams.
Oh, so you going to give credit? I would hear you say it, though.
But I love my quarterback because you guys just don't get him because he's one of the great playmakers in this game today. And that can be with legs or arm. But when the chips are on the table, when they all get pushed to the middle of the table, I'll take my quarterback to make the play to win the game. And I'm going to hit my man D'Angelo here with some of those same stats again. Do you realize no quarterback in the history of the NFL over his first 3 seasons has had a higher completion percentage than Dak Prescott?
But
There's
why?
something good about that.
But
I don't know.
why is that, though? And I apologize. I said Drew Brees. I meant
no, you meant.
the
I know
Rams,
what we knew what you meant.
L.A.
Yeah.
But you're saying the reason when you say Dak Prescott is one of the great playmakers.
Okay.
Like, I don't see that.
Okay, but let me
because
ask you
I
this.
want them to use him that way.
How
he's
do you,
not Russell Wilson.
How do you
That's
argue
why
against
everyone
this?
thought that Russell Wilson was going to win that matchup because Dak doesn't do.
He thought that.
Exactly.
And my prediction was based on my quarterback will outplay Russell Wilson, and he did.
I'm just saying Dak has the ability to be that kind of player, but I don't think he's quite there yet.
So how do
He
you
doesn't
explain
make
over
enough
the
plays
last
with his
3
feet.
years, Dak Prescott leads all of football in game-winning drives, fourth quarter and overtime, and he did it again this game. He had a game-winning drive. They fall behind 14-10, and he says, watch this, I got this.
I have a game-winning drive in my head that I watched Dak lead, and I can't really remember the opponent, but I remember him leading that drive. And it wasn't a lot of him just dropping back, slinging the rock all over the field to where we think, wow, he's leading these game-winning drives. It was him doing as that offense does, handing to Zeke, finding a matchup. All right, let's get the ball to Zeke here. All right, Amari Cooper, here you go. Hand off to Zeke. Zeke, quick screen. Zeke on this matchup. It wasn't him just dissecting defenses like we see other quarterbacks do.
Okay, he's not Drew Brees. He's not your homeboy. He's not that. He'll never be that.
But he is.
But he's really good at what he does.
He is a really good quarterback, and he is capable to be so much more.
You keep talking about the first 3 years, but in the first 3 years, he's had something that no other quarterback has had in the last 3 years, and that's the league's leading rusher.
Yeah, that makes it
Let's go put
easier.
that to the test because he has yet to lead the league in touchdown passes. He's yet to lead the league in yards per attempt, but he has been on a team that had the league's leading rusher. And when he didn't have him, he looked very pedestrian.
Did he really?
And
he
that's,
won 9 games. I don't know.
Yeah, hold on. Did he make the playoff? Did he make the playoff?
He came within a game of making the playoffs.
Whoa, we don't do that. Close. The only time I worry about close is
it's a team.
Yeah.
It's a team.
It's
And
a
they have a
team
really good team.
led by
and with
Dak
him
Prescott.
leading them, they got a chance.
He is the
They
alpha.
do.
He is the leader. He is the driving force. He is the playmaker for this team. When it's time in the red zone, where they struggled all year, excuse me, Jenny, all he did was say, this is incredible, on 2nd and 4 from the 10-yard line, the first time they get it down in the red zone early in the fourth quarter, he calls an audible. He goes to the line and checks off, and I don't even know how this was the audible play. This is the default play. It's a single wing play where they snap it to him, and Zeke leads the way to the left. It's a power sweep.
They got him
to the left.
outnumbered.
Yeah, and he just runs through the whole Seattle defense, says, I got this. I will will the ball into the end zone. And that's when you win the locker room.
And even more than X's and O's with Dak, you talked about him checking his playoff. To me, it is that leadership quality that I see from him. Like, you've been around great quarterbacks as teammates. I've been around some okay ones, not really great leaders. And so to see a guy like Dak do an interview or hear him talking in the locker room and seeing how his teammates embrace him.
You can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah,
you really can feel the genuineness of it. And coming out of Mississippi State, I didn't give this kid no credit. I'm like, they ran.
They didn't beat nobody. Because every time he faced
every time they
when he faced the real St.
big time team, they never showed up. Part of it I felt like was that offense. But then I faced him as a rookie, and I said, man, this dude is pretty good. He is pretty good.
He is pretty good.
And then I've watched him keep
was
growing.
Zeke there?
Exactly.
Oh,
but it's the
okay, that
combination
was
with
Zeke.
Shannon. That combination I feel like is going to be there for a while, so you can't have one without the other. So it is what it is at
happened
this
at Washington, the turnaround game of the year? You were playing in the secondary, and Kirk Cousins went to church because he threw it right to Barry Church in the end zone, and here came Dak, and he went 80 yards in 8 plays, and that was the end of you
And
guys.
Zeke had 100-something yards.
27-23 Dallas. You remember that?
Yeah, you don't want to talk about that. Talk about them 100+ that Zeke had.
He's really good. But
No, Zeke ain't really good. Zeke great.
You can find running backs. You can't find.
Yeah, you can find them. You ain't, well, when I find one that leads in his first 3 years, lead the NFL in rushing,
he's really good.
That's normally reserved to like a
I'm
ED.
going to warn you about my team. It's been on a revenge tour, and it owes the Rams for last year at Jerry World. They had 24-16 at halftime where the Cowboys.
Well, they got to make up for it again next year.
I want some do on that then.
Do you?
Yeah, I love the Rams.
Love the Rams.
Love them?
Huh.
Love the Rams.
And yet the Rams down the stretch.
Yeah.
Don't worry about them.
Look great.
Their record's still
But
better
they got
than
a
yours.
bye week. They had a bye week too.
They had a 3-3 stretch.
They had a bye week.
Better than yours.
Wait a
Let
second.
me tell you something. Sean's known this defense and this team for a long time
okay.
being in Washington now.
And yet the Rams.
We beat them a lot with Sean.
I got it. But
just saying.
You know, I'm just saying the Rams defense ranked
And when
20th. Wait a second. 20th in points allowed. 20th. Did it not underachieve?
But
all
And
year?
your offense ranked 23rd in points scored.
Your offense is not going to come out and throw that thing all over the yard, which gives the Rams, have been giving the Rams trouble toward the end of the season. Your team ain't gonna do that.
I
That's
got
the
a
thing.
top five
It's not about the
Keep
numbers.
talking
It's
about
about how we match up versus what they do.
Yeah.
And second of all, you don't have Drew Brees and you ain't got my homeboy. Teams that gave them fits.
Wait a second. So Sean gave Dallas fits because, I don't know, Dak was 4-0 against Kirk Cousins, right?
No, was it? No, I don't think so.
No, no.
Yeah.
No, even with
We'll talk
Shanahan, even
about
with
it on
Shanahan,
this
though,
show.
we had Shanahan too. How many times did we lose to Dallas? You know, Sean was
But
there.
with the numbers, we more of
Sean
a
was
numbers guy. Your day coming. Don't worry about, I don't care what happened in the past. I'm talking about Saturday. Saturday night at 8:15 on Big Fox.
You told me my day was coming last
It's
Saturday
coming.
night.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, a little late to arrive. Yeah. I ain't have Amazon Prime.
The revenge
I got Amazon
tour
Prime.
aspect.
Revenge tour.
Think about this. Dak's facing a quarterback that was taking 134 picks above him.
Thank you.
That's really
Thank
unique
you.
to me. I mean, if
That's
there's
a
any
good
kind of
point.
revenge.
And by the way, Dak really outplayed Jared Goff last year at Jared.
No, he didn't.
Huge.
You know what? Go ahead.
Go look it up. Go look it
As a
up.
matter of fact, I just signed up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna order. They said it'll be there. It'll be there
What
next
are you
day.
signing up for here? Amazon
I
Prime?
ordered Amazon Prime. I ordered this dub for the Rams. It'll be there with. They said it'll arrive Wednesday by 10.
You're going to have to try to buy it.
Yeah, it'll arrive about 10 Saturday.
Really?
We'll
I'm coming over to your
see.
house
They
too.
might be
I just want you to know.
delayed.
Go ahead and put my name on the gate. Put my name at the gate.
Yeah.
Put my name at the gate. I'm coming
Yeah,
over.
You can have a faux win.
Somehow the idea of you guys watching a game together is
No,
frightening.
Oh,
no,
that
I'm
would
not
be-
happy.
that would be
No,
comedy.
no. I'm
That
coming
would
over
be
after.
comedy.
I'm coming over after they lose. So go ahead and put my name.
Okay.
Good.
I'm
You
not-
are welcome to come over and
Yeah,
celebrate.
Oh, ain't no
with me.
celebrating.
Hello. Thank
You
you
ain't
for
gonna wanna
being
celebrate.
here.
Dude.
Our Andrew Luck and the Colts looking like a real contender. Let's talk about a different quarterback we'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Andrew Luck and the Colts easily took care of the Texans on Saturday, and now they're headed to Arrowhead to face the Chiefs. Luck had 2 touchdown passes on Saturday, and in the regular season, he had the second most TD passes behind Patrick Mahomes' league-leading 50. Shannon, what shot do you give the Colts at Kansas City next week?
I give them a very good shot because what they can do is that they can run the football with Mac. Now, Mac had almost 1,000 yards and he missed 4 games. Skip, when they solidified this offensive line, because think about this, the Colts go from the most sacked team in 2017 to the least sacked team in 2018. And Braden Smith, the second-round pick at right tackle, because they took Quentin
Nelson.
with the first pick,
Yep.
with the first-round pick.
Yep.
The job that he was able to do on J.J. Watt, because for the most part, J.J. Watt had really no impact on the game. He did bat a ball and ended up getting intercepted.
He did.
But he did a number on protecting Andrew Luck. And because they can run the football, what that will do is that it will minimize the amount of time that my homeboy in that offense, because they're potent. Only once did they score. They scored 26 points. That's the fewest points they scored all year long, was 26. But their defense, Skip, now they average second worst. They average 5 yards per carry. And the reason why that's a problem is that teams fall behind, so they're unable to run the football. But if they could keep the game close and they could run it and get 25, get 30 carries, now you see the problem that poses. Second worst in total defense. Skip, they give up 405 yards a game. 405. Second worst in passed offense, 273 a game. Do you think Andrew Luck can throw it? With T.Y., Eric Ebron, Emmon, they have the weapons that can cause you problems. They have the offensive line that can protect Luck and run the ball and minimize the Chiefs. It's going to be loud, Skip. The question is, can they keep the game? Can they keep the game close, get to the fourth quarter, and now make it a ball game? Because you don't want the Chiefs to get ahead of you and take you out of running the football and just pin their ears back and come get you. Because eventually, they got Chris Jones, 14.5 sacks. D Ford, Pro Bowl, 10.5.
They lead the NFL in sacks.
Yeah, Justin Houston once had 22 sacks in a season. So they have pressure.
Okay, so they lead, but Andrew Luck was least sacked. So who's going to win that battle?
Yeah, and plus, they can run the ball. And we know how poor Kansas City is against stopping the run. I know what you're hoping, but you ain't gonna get it.
I want to announce I love Andrew Luck.
Now you love. Hold on, Skip Bayless.
You know what?
Have you ever
I've
said
decided
that?
Andrew Luck is the best quarterback in pro football. He is really good. And
You
he's
just
on
took
top of the
Deshaun
game.
Watson over Andrew Luck last week.
yeah.
Now you want to pick.
Yeah.
I know what you're hoping, Skip, baby. Everybody see through that, too.
Andy Reid is in trouble. I say congratulations and condolences to Andy Reid because he gets to play Andrew Luck and this team that has won 10 out of 11 games. And I will admit to you, I was wrong about my pick. We split our picks. We were 2-2 over the weekend of the wild card weekend. Well, wait, what happened?
Parkey.
Huh?
Parquet, excuse me. And then he want to get in his locker and say, oh, you put this in perspective. No, there is no perspective. You lost us the game. That's the perspective that I want to put on it.
Did you let Parkey come into your restaurant last
night?
No.
I don't want
fed him dog food.
I don't want. Did you see the Bears mascot? I mean,
yes.
he just
fell down. Yeah.
I mean, didn't we all?
That hurt.
Yep.
That hurt.
So, I got to tell you, I was knocked over by what happened when Andrew Luck went into it's his hometown, and he plays great in his hometown in Houston, but they dominated that football game.
Yeah, that game was really never close.
Hey, they're just better than the Houston Texans. And I picked with my heart because I do love me some Deshaun Watson, and I was actually hoping that Houston would pull that off because then Houston would have gone to Foxborough, and I was pretty sure that would be the easiest matchup for Tom Brady and company.
Yes.
The second easiest is Phillip Rivers. The first hardest would have been Lamar and the Ravens, who would have gone in there with no fear at all. But that's a whole nother story. All bets are off because what I saw from Andrew Luck and company was I believe he now has the best offensive line in pro football. He just does, because Quentin Nelson is just...
He's a monster.
He's a monster.
He's a
He
monster.
was pancaking people. He's nasty.
Yes.
Like he's a little crazy nasty,
He out of that,
right?
Hey, he out of that. Skip, you know what? For the longest, and everybody said, he's better than Zach Martin. They're like, I'm like, dude, Zach Martin's been to the Pro Bowl every year. He's been all-pro basically every year.
Zach Martin's more of a technician. You know, he's just really good at what he does. This guy's crazy.
He just mauls people.
Okay? And all of a sudden, Marlon Mack came out of nowhere. There's no better running back right now, including Zeke. This guy's playing at the highest level.
He played unbelievable. Great moves and great. But the thing is, Skip, and since they started 1-5, the Colts have the -- 1 scoring defense. They've given up 16 points a game.
Wow.
So the thing
is, that kid from South Carolina State.
Or Darius Leonard, Skip. He should Skip. How did he not make the Pro Bowl?
I don't know. Because he had 13 more tackles against these guys.
And as good as Van Der Esch has been, he hadn't been good as this kid.
No,
this kid's one of them.
No, I agree. I can't argue. I can't argue.
You know
You're
what
right.
they do? Let me tell you what Indy does. Indy gets ahead, and they play that zone. They play Tampa too. And so they keep everything in front of them, and they rally to the football. And if you need 10, they rally to the football. They hold you to 8 or 9. And if they can do that, now it's going to be incumbent on Mahomes to take care of the football. Don't get all antsy, because I know it's a lot of emotion, Skip.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of pressure. You've been the best team in the AFC basically from start to finish.
Yep.
You got 50 touchdowns. You threw for 5,000 yards. I believe he's going to win the MVP. Considering he got 45 of the first place votes from the All-Pro quarterback. That lets you know right there, Skip, who won it, huh? Yeah.
I'll give you that.
It's hard for me to believe that. Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, we had Dew on it too.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We had no Dew.
Yeah, we had Dew on it, Skip. Yeah, we did.
I'm sorry, that's a lie.
Skip.
But it's okay. It's okay.
So you just want to
fantasize about winning Dew, but you can't actually win Dew.
So in other words, you just want to take all my Dew from the best that I lost in 2018 and don't give me any chance to win my Dew.
We can't just make up bets. I don't know, but you have chances to win it back. Maybe right here. I might have another case on Andrew Luck in this game.
Oh, you might, huh? Oh, we're going to do that. Can we get that
and
right
by
now?
the way, I want to remind you, Kansas City has lost its last 6 home playoff
They've been terrible.
6?
They've been terrible.
The last one was 93.
93? Wait a second. The Kansas City Chiefs have not won a home game since 1993?
We got them in 97.
Really?
And I'm
you
guessing
got
that
them.
Mahomes
So you
wasn't born.
extended that streak.
Oh, yeah, I think we started it.
And your stats in that game were?
Hey, what that good, Skip? You know,
go ahead, tell
that
us.
was a TD game. That was a TD game. You know, we run the ball, because we know they weren't going to be able to do nothing. So
two catches, 6 yards?
I had like 3.
3 for
Hey, what that bit? It's little small. I caught a deep cross for like 17, 18 yards.
Yeah.
Then I ended up getting tackled because I didn't have I don't wear a mouthpiece, and I bit through my top lip.
Did you?
But I was feeling good, though.
And that was it?
Yeah, I just told him.
And did you continue to play having bitten through your top lip?
I did.
Okay.
I wasn't leaving that game.
I think we better check those stats.
I wasn't leaving that game.
Do you remember all your stats or just
yes,
selective?
every last
What happened?
inch of a
I might have just called. I don't know, Skip.
Yeah.
It was a TD game. You know, it was cold, Skip. It was really cold. It was a night game. You know, it get cold in Kansas City, you know, in January, so it was late.
It's interesting. I have like this someone is telling me from above it was 2 catches.
2 catches? How many yards?
33 yards.
33. I know what I caught a far cross. I know I caught a far cross, Skip.
Really? Only 2 catches?
That was it. TD had about 25, about 30 rushes, though.
No fan wants to hear that you bit through your lip because they don't really care.
What?
I want to know.
Skip, that could
Did you stay or
You have
not?
to get stitches?
Yeah.
Nah, you ain't get no stitch. I was tough.
Tough?
Yeah, I could have been a hockey player.
Interesting.
I could have been a hockey player.
That would have
Well,
been
we
an
might
incredible
have
sight.
dew on this game.
No, ain't no bite. Ain't no bite.
Might.
We got to have dew on all the games.
No, we're going to have a bunch of dew. This is going to be a big dew weekend.
A lot of dew because
the
I've got
dew.
a feeling that
Yeah.
Skip is feeling confident about his Cowboys against the Rams. We're going to discuss that one, maybe
I
some
won't
bets
strike.
later next.
No mercy.
And the Cowboys took care of business against the Seahawks on Saturday. Now they're a 7-point underdog on the road here in LA. The Rams were very impressive, 7-1 at home, while the Cowboys were 3-5 away from Jerry World. So Shannon, what shot do you give the Cowboys next week?
A lot of it depends on how well the Rams defense is going to play. They're not very good against the run. I'm sure Dallas will lean heavily on the run. Ezekiel Elliott, he got 26 carries against Seattle at home. Would I be surprised if he got 30-plus carries on the road? I absolutely would not. You don't want Dak dropping back 30-plus times against Sue and Brockers and obviously the guy that's going to win the Defensive Player of the Year and Aaron Donald. Talib is back, and Peters go back to his natural position. They've let Peters kind of play his style. Peters likes to sit back. He likes to clue. He's not a press corner. He likes to sit back, what things play out and jump whatever he thinks is going to happen behind it. But the Cowboys have a chance. Everybody, when you get to this point, especially, there are no Arizonas. There are no Oakland Raiders once you get to the playoffs. All the teams are fairly good or else you wouldn't have gotten here. Every once in a while, Skip, you get a scenario where you get a team that's 8-8 or 7-8, whatever the case may be, Skip, you're like, wow. But they can win a game. I mean, Seattle won a playoff game at 7-8-1.
They did.
So anything can happen. But Dallas won 10 games. They won their division. They got arguably the best running back. I think Le'Veon didn't play, so we have to remove him. I think he's behind Todd Gurley. I would take Todd Gurley over Zeke. But Zeke is top 2 running back in all of football. Amari Cooper's been unbelievable. I think he's the biggest reason we see his offense take that next step. So they have a great chance. But I still believe Dak needs to throw the football better in order for them to take that next step. And if they are to get to where you think ultimately they're going to be, it's going to be because he takes that next step in throwing the football.
Are you listening, Dak Prescott? And I appreciate that from the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe, that words of encouragement, because you just keep lighting his fire. And it burns brighter and brighter.
Skip, I thought that was a compliment.
I appreciate that.
That's not a compliment?
He's got to throw it better. He's got to step up.
I said ultimately
to get to where
I
have been consistent about this all year long on this show. I've never been sold on the Los Angeles Rams. I've said that again and again, and they finished 20th on defense and points allowed. That has been underachievement on that unit's part all year long.
What about your offense, finishing 24th?
Okay.
Is that underachievement?
Fine. I think my team has a great chance because of some intangibles. The first one is, I'm going to remind everybody, the Dallas Cowboys have trained in Southern California since 1963, Thousand Oaks, now in Oxnard, and it created a cowboy nation in Southern California. Trust me, most of the security guards here are cowboy fans. Wherever I turn in Los Angeles, wherever I go to the mall or wherever, it's just loaded with cowboy jerseys.
Yeah.
It's what's going to happen on Saturday night in that Coliseum, which is open territory for visiting fans. It'll probably wind up 60-40 Dallas fans.
Absolutely.
Okay? So it's like a home away from home game. I'm going to say it again. My team is on a revenge tour, and it owes the Rams for last year. My quarterback outplayed Jared Goff last year.
Didn't.
Okay, his QBR was 81 in that game. Dak's was, and Jared Goff's was 46 on a scale of 0
How many
to 100.
touchdowns did Jared Goff throw?
I don't care. 81 to 46, and at halftime it was 24-16. Dak Prescott, 35 to 30.
Where did Dak come? Where did Dak have his meal? His after-game meal.
He lost, so they owe these Los Angeles Rams. And I'm going to point this out one more time. Dak's coming out party, where he announced himself to the world, was right here at this stadium in August, first preseason game of the 2016 series.
That was Jeff Fisher.
No.
That don't count.
All right, you know what? I'll give you that. But Dak Prescott, you can ask my man Eric Dickerson, who was on the sideline that night. I'm sitting back saying, who is this and what is this? Because he goes first series. Again, just raw rookie out of Mississippi State, fourth-round pick. He goes 80 yards in 11 plays and hits Des Bryant for a 10-yard touchdown. Next series, second series, he goes 75 in 6 plays, and he hits Terrence Williams for a 32-yard touchdown. And then on the fourth series of the game, he runs 14 yards to set up a field goal. And I'm saying, wow, that is for real. And you don't think he's going to be comfortable back in this stadium that he announced his arrival?
I got 2 names for you.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald.
Good.
Connor Williams.
Okay. Good.
Hey, you like that?
I don't like it. I don't like it.
How about that national championship game
about
tonight? Will St. Nick
roll
and
tides.
Alabama
Yep,
roll
here we go.
again?
I give it up.
Skip
I
and
give it
Shannon
up.
make their picks next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Alabama is a 5.5-point favorite in tonight's national championship game against Clemson. This will be the 4th straight year the Tide and the Tigers have met in the playoff, and they've met twice before in the title game, with each team winning once. So, Shannon, who you got who wins?
Man, we've been waiting for this one. I've been waiting all year because we knew it was going to come down to this. Because Clemson is the only team that can match Alabama as far as talent and as far as physicality.
Yep.
And with that being said, Vegas says it's a 5-point margin of victory. I'm going to take Vegas at its word. I'm going to say Alabama wins 35-30. Tua makes a few more plays because I believe the difference in this Alabama's defense will have more success against Lawrence than it had against Kyler Murray. Trying to get Kyler Murray was a little bit difficult because he has legs. They will put pressure on Lawrence, and they'll win this game 35-30.
So we know you love Alabama because you grew up in Alabama and went to the University of Alabama, right? And
You would think.
I respect that.
I got some friends that's from Demopolis, Alabama, and a few old homeboys with the Heflon.
So here's my take on this game. Trevor Lawrence is the next great quarterback.
Wow.
He's 6'5" tall, and he can run, but he's not ready for Quinnen Williams and company just yet. Tua will outplay him. I think it'll be higher scoring, and ironically, I've got a little bigger score than you have. I got 36-30, so I got them covering the spread by a half.
I don't care about those spreads.
Do you not have the conviction?
I got it. All I want to do
is not believe.
Because this is what I want. Because at the Alabama Invitational, we should win every year. This will leave no doubt in anyone's mind. The greatest college coach to ever walk the sideline is one St. Nick Saban.
Really?
Yeah.
Greatest college coach or
the greatest coach to walk the college sidelines.
How about combined pro and college?
How about it?
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.